3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we streaming live? Are we live to YouTube's now? Right now, in this moment?
I believe right now.
Ooh.
Right now at this moment, we're live.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
I can't
We
believe
made it.
And there we are.
And there we are.
Whoop,
This is what we look like to everybody out there.
All right.
Adam, scoot in a little bit. We got to get the framing
in.
right a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. Let's get friendly.
All
Here
right.
we go, everybody.
Maybe Kelsey will
That
share
looks
her
good.
Skittles. I'm not big Skittle.
Yeah.
I used to be. You know what? I take it back. I am huge on Skittles, but I quit. I
You quit
had
on
to quit 'em.
Skittles.
Yeah, that Warheads, Airheads, Sour Patch Kids, the dip, the Fun Dip, the Pixie Set. I get Sugar and Me.
That was his jam.
We got a thing.
Go
but
crazy.
I try to limit myself now. So, but anyways,
Well, first things
like that.
first, we got to thank Westwood Avenue.
that was a pretty sweet intro.
It was good. A little sweet. Matt.
Sorry.
Westwood Avenue, thank you very much for letting us set up camp and do our thing here. We appreciate it very much from week to week. Check out westwoodavenue.com if you have any marketing or storytelling, video. You want to
That's
write
who
a
you wanna
jingle
talk
for the
to.
radio.
That's who you want to talk to.
You want to start a podcast.
Westwood
Check out Westwood Avenue
Avenue.
and
.com.
westwoodavenue.com.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are done, and I think we're ready to start the show.
Oh, and on that note, we've been on our little frame the whole time. That's, I guess, our first debacle. So let's just cut to us really quick so now you can see us. You haven't been able to see us the whole time. You just saw our mugs the whole time.
That's all good.
So that means for the song, we're just going to be a little dancing right here because I think we're going to have some good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode, what are we, 28?
I don't know.
I think it's episode 28.
Awesome.
Kelsey Kopecky.
Eight's my lucky number. So.
Yay! And Kelsey. Special Wednesday.
Special Wednesday edition.
The Wednesday edition.
We just couldn't wait till Thursday. We
Nope.
had to get it done on Wednesday.
Sometimes that happens.
All right, and we are at it and in it. YouTube Live. Kelsey
Live.
Kopecky.
How's that in
Yo.
everyone's cans? I should have
It's
asked.
good.
That. We're good. I
I'm
turned
good.
yours
It's
down just a little
great.
bit. I bet it was raging. I saw yours was like up all the way. That's why I was like, I need to pull it down. Anyways,
I kind of loved it, but I actually like this more, so thank you.
trying to feel it out. So good.
Well, thanks for coming out and being on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So, you are a musician here in Nashville, Tennessee.
I
Been doing the
am.
music thing in Nashville for a while now.
Yeah, like 12 years.
And
All 12 of them in Nashville.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
It's great. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
done most of mine in Nashville. It's good.
Yeah, I
It's a good
moved
place to do
here
it.
in 2005.
what brought you here?
Went to Belmont University
Oh.
and
I
To
mean,
study
had a
music? Of
dream.
Of course.
Yeah,
That means you're
music business.
That means you're a working musician.
What?
That means you know how to work, actually, or you've been working. You know how to work your pinky is what that means typically.
Like
I don't know. What did you study at Belmont then?
He's
Did
just
you
I
studied
songwri-
music business.
Oh, music business.
Yeah,
So that's what I did at MTSU.
you did.
Yeah, because I was done singing for a while.
Yeah.
But so that was what did you have kind of like a emphasis in your music business or something that you really enjoyed part of the music business like
Yeah.
management, advertising, marketing?
So I started out actually with a production emphasis. So I did a lot of like audio classes, and then I moved into just like business.
Gotcha.
It's like a business emphasis.
I gotcha.
Music business with an emphasis in business.
So taking care of the
So-
business. So just taking care of it.
The business.
So
All right.
here I am.
So is that where the Kopecky family band formed?
Yes, we did. I was a junior and the boys were freshmen.
Oh, wow.
So they
And were you playing music already? I mean, was music a thing that you were into and doing at the time?
Yeah, I actually put out a solo EP way back then, and under the name Kelsey Joy, and it's one of my most embarrassing things. But it's
Oh,
pretty sweet.
good.
It's pretty sweet, you know.
I still have a couple of mine of those lying around. Just a stack of them.
Yeah.
I don't know why I still have them, but I do.
Yeah, right. Guess somebody wants a jam to some
The
old-
Hollywood Band.
Oh.
And that wasn't like a cover band. Like that was like an original band.
That's
Not like a wedding
actually-
band.
The Hollywood
The
band.
Hollywood band.
Oh, I love it, you guys.
What can
So
I say?
pure, so sweet.
So the first
Youthful.
time that I heard y'all, and we saw the photo, man, you want to pull that up? It was at Bonnaroo when y'all were playing.
Oh my
Bonnaroo.
gosh!
Yeah,
Yes.
I had the privilege of shooting backstage on 2 of those years, and I believe that was the first year. You're right there next to Mr. Mumford
Oh my gosh!
and
it's
Alabama
amazing.
Shakes, Miss Alabama Shakes, and Mr. Mumford.
Okay, that
Um,
was the best.
But
There you
yeah,
go.
like I remember that session because like you brought in this little tiny like toy
Keyboard,
keyboard and
yep.
like the instrumentation was really interesting, and the way that y'all were able to adapt your super produced
Yeah.
pop tunes, like power rock pop tunes,
Yeah.
and strip it down was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was fun.
And one thing that I noticed is that the joy that you had playing music was instantly observable. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, I could tell
totally.
they were like, you were feeling good. The band was playing good. And
Yeah.
it was fun to see which artist came in there that year and like, wasn't it's just another radio thing. And then some people came in there and really wanted to have fun with it. And you guys had fun with it.
It was so fun.
So
Yeah.
that was how early was that in the family band?
So we started in 2007, just like playing house shows with our friends and in dorm rooms. We made our first little EP in a dorm, but I guess that was, I think, 2010. Does that sound right? Bonnaroo 2010, maybe.
Sure. There was one then.
So,
Yeah, there was definitely
there's
one there.
definitely one.
That's probably it.
So I believe that was, so 2.5 years in or something like that, and it was so much fun.
I bet that was a fun experience. I know it's a fun experience because I've had the pleasure of doing that. Like, because y'all were playing the small tent.
Yeah,
things,
we did
right?
the solar or something,
Right.
solar stage or some weird
Yeah,
name.
like the Miller Lite solar tent or something.
Yeah, we did a few. That year we did three
Played three different.
shows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did
it was
this.
fun.
They a band that I played with for a long time. We actually did that the very first year they started doing those tents.
Okay.
So were y'all camping? Like,
Yeah, we
You had to
did. We
camp.
totally
you got
camped.
VIP camping.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you still have artist pass.
Oh, it was
So you still get to
fun.
go to the artist area, but yeah, it's a lot of fun for
Yeah.
3 days. And was that kind of was that your first experience in playing in that
Yeah, I think that was. I mean,
like,
around
first
that.
festival?
Yeah, around that time, that kind of started the, the adrenaline moving forward was Bonnaroo. After that, I think we actually had management at that point, but shortly after that, we started pretty much touring full time and then signed to ATO Records maybe like a year after that, or
Yeah.
According
something like
to
that.
our records.
So were y'all getting
Yeah.
radio play at that time? Because you had the first record out, right?
At that time, I think we only had The Disaster and Of Epic Proportions. I need to know my discography better.
It's all good.
But we had we put out a tiny EP, kind of album thing, and then a follow-up EP, and then 2 full lengths.
Okay.
So ATO came alongside us, the 2 scary because
Well,
we
yeah.
had never done a lot of
It's
television.
the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
That's the granddaddy of them all. It's not like you played
Yeah.
late night or with Fallon or what was whoever was doing the. I guess who was covering for Conan who was
Oh
playing.
yeah, I don't know. At that point,
Who took over for? Oh no, Fallon was the one
Fallon,
that was
yeah.
following. Yeah, but that's a big. That's
yeah,
it
it was cool.
Did at any point you were like, we're in the TV right now? Like that's how I would feel. Like I'm in television right now.
Don't want to
It's a look.
hide.
It's a look.
And y'all had released the last record at that point, right?
No,
No?
that was the one before.
Okay.
I think. Gosh, again, I need to
all
brush up on my Kopecky discography. For real though, I need to get our Wikipedia up
Sure.
and. But anyway, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you released one as the Kopecky family band, and then the last one was as just Kopecky.
Yes.
Why the change at the last? What?
Totally. And in retrospect,
I always wondered that. I was like, why did they change it?
So the idea was all of our fans called us Kopecky.
Right.
Like everyone would be like, "Oh, do you have a Kopecky show?" And like,
so it was a forced hand.
So it was kind of like
influence.
Let's save ink.
Yeah, it like made sense.
Let's save some ink.
And we honestly had some weird booking things where people like who didn't know our band. It was challenging for our agent because he would try and book us some gigs and they'd be like, "What is this, a backwoods family band?" Like they thought we were like Appalachian dulcimer playing people and we weren't. We were just like a indie rock band, but so
that is awesome.
So we thought, hey, let's simplify it, shorten it, clean up our look a little bit. And I just think that was kind of a bad idea, but hindsight. Monday quarterback, know what I mean?
There you go.
Isn't that what they say? Monday quarterback? Sunday night.
Me and Matt aren't sports. We don't.
I do hockey. I do sport. I do some sports. I don't do football anymore. Yeah.
Well, the
me
saying
and
is
sugar
that
and football. We're gonna go through the list tonight of all the things that I gave up.
Okay, so you gave
had
up
too
football.
much. I had too much.
So is that band is no longer?
So we're no longer. Although today I hung out with 3 of the guys.
What? Is that Heard It Here First?
Heard It Here First, but don't worry, they're making music not with me.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
I gotcha.
No, we just honestly know each other way too well.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up together. I mean, I was 20, the boys were 18. We got thrown into this amazing adventure. Seriously, some of the best memories of my life, like being wasted in Arkansas, singing the entire Dixie Chicks catalog to our drummer David. We've all been there.
Not with David, but been there.
Yeah. Just like fun memories, like
being in a band is awesome.
It's amazing.
It's a lot of fun.
It's amazing. But long story short, like, there's just a time where you're like, okay, I need a change of pace. I need to switch some things up. And for me, it has been very fruitful. And, I only have good memories. Yeah. And good feelings towards the band. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck that guy. But mostly it's like, I love you all so much. Sorry, I didn't realize. I probably shouldn't say that.
No, you can say that.
You can cuss all you want.
No, we're cool.
Well, I mean,
we're not allowed to do it
my mom is
much.
definitely going to watch this and going to be mad.
Oh.
So, Mom, listen. I love ya.
It's funny. Matt will call me sometimes and he'll go, "Hey, man, just let you know you're on speakerphone," which means the kid's in the car, right?
And within 30
seconds, I'm cussing and I forget. And then at the end of the conversation, I'll be like, "Oh shit, man, I'm sorry, I forgot you're on speakerphone." Because I'll hear I'll hear it change and it goes. I start to hear him better. I'm like, "Oh, you were on speakerphone," and I was cussing up a storm.
That's too funny.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
It does.
That's hilarious.
But it's a tough. It's a weird thing. So how long was Kopecky a band?
Like 10 years.
Yeah, that's a hard decision to make. The band I was in for the longest time was about 8 years.
Yeah,
I mean
it's a long time.
Yeah,
it's a lot of memories, a lot of hard work, and a lot of growth.
Yeah,
and I mean, we paid our bills for 6 years for 6 people, so I'm grateful for that, and I think it was
amen.
An amazing thing. We built something together. We made this joke thing in a bedroom, and then pretty soon we're at Lollapalooza laughing because we are doing it. You know, with it's so weird.
How did you guys get hooked up? How did the video with Michael? Is it Michael Ian Black?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we were looking for someone to write a video for that song. It's called "Talk to Me," and I guess it was our one of the guys at the label was talking to some directors, and this guy Alex Karpovsky, who plays Adam, or not Adam, gosh, now I'm blanking. He's in the show Girls, which I watch sometimes and I really actually like it.
Oh, Adam Driver?
Adam Driver's
No,
character?
not Adam Driver. The other, anyway, it's a different guy. Not Adam. But his name is...
So cool.
Anyway, whatever. Anyway, this director, knows Michael Ian Black
Yeah.
and got him to do it. And so it was so funny,
I
and we
bet.
became buds.
That's
he's
cool.
Yeah.
I've been watching him. I mean, like The State was his first show on MTV. Have you ever seen The State? I mean,
No.
seriously? Oh, you need
Good
that's
show.
Need to do some
So-
research.
Back when MTV was still, I guess in its adolescence, there was a show on there called The State, and it was him and a bunch of the guys from Reno 911, and you'd recognize a bunch of people, and it was like a alt sketch comedy show, and it was
Yeah.
really, really, really funny.
Oh
Great
my
show.
gosh.
Very funny. One of the funniest things I ever saw them do was they it was back when they used to broadcast live from spring break. I'm a little bit older generation wise. I'm just this is going back to the
Just a
90s when you
little.
were just a wee lad.
Maybe. I mean, I was born in '86.
Yeah, so,
there's that.
but they used to broadcast from spring break down in like Panama City.
I
and stuff.
remember
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
there'd be like a bikini girl
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
island,
And
then
Pauly
the
Shore.
camera-
Yeah, Pauly Shore and
And
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. But so the cast of The State went in front of all these drunken idiots
Incredible.
at
remember
at spring break,
Okay.
and they came out and they did like a legit scene from some Shakespeare thing, right?
Okay.
Like they weren't joking, they were delivering the monologue, but they were wearing like the most ridiculous leotards, and as the characters kept coming out, the bulge in the pants kept just getting more ridiculous
Oh my
and more ridiculous,
gosh.
and they weren't breaking character, and someone else would walk out. I mean, it was so
Yeah.
over the top.
Okay, hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's
Quality
you should check.
television.
Yeah,
Oh
but that's
yeah,
where that's
great
where,
show. That
that's-
was the beginning of
but
the
that's
end.
where
I
he
think,
that's where he
actually.
started, was on The State on MTV. You should I don't know
I
where
gotta
you
check
can
that
find
That was
out.
reality
anymore.
TV right there. Is
Yeah,
what that was.
Gosh.
It was
I
Do you
guess
guys-
for whatever it is.
Did you ever see Wet Hot American Summer?
Oh, I
or
love it.
Now the new one.
Oh, yeah.
too?
No,
And now-
I haven't seen either of them.
You got it.
It's good.
It's so entertaining.
And
Yeah,
then
I bet.
now
I
there's
heard it is.
there's a new part that just came out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a running series.
So it's
That's
just
what I've
about
been
I mean,
watching.
is it just like a camp? Like isn't the first one like a camp, a summer camp or something like that? I got
and
you.
then
Yeah.
in the summer camp, and then the second one, the one that they released recently,
Yeah.
that's the movie, actually takes place the first day of that week. Like the original one takes place on the last day of the week.
Oh,
I gotcha.
yeah.
And the second one takes place on the first day, but they're all
That's how they
older and
tie it
whatnot.
in.
Yeah.
I like that.
And
Yeah.
there's like what is the thing that's like 10 years later?
Yeah, well,
yeah, is
in
that
the first one,
series?
they make a promise at the end. They're like, guys, in 20 years,
Oh,
we're gonna
okay.
come back at this exact moment,
That's
or you
right.
know, and meet
okay,
here
yeah.
and all catch up and da da
Yeah,
da.
yeah.
And so that's what the new series is.
gotcha.
It's
is-
so funny,
yeah,
and they're
it's-
saving
Yeah,
the
because the new
camp.
one's a series. It
Yeah,
is
it's
a series,
ridiculous.
right?
It's
so
pretty
funny, man.
But yeah, you
I
should check
gotcha.
out the State. It's
I
it will
totally
it will
will.
make you laugh. You
The
can find
State.
it on the YouTubes, I'm
Some
sure.
oldies.
Yeah. It's weird. So how long did you work on your EP? You got an EP out.
I did it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
With this guy. So, yeah. So I had like, when I came off a tour with Kopecky, I was playing in the band, basically predominantly bass guitar and keyboards in the band. And I moved, and I ended up only having an electric guitar that my ex-boyfriend gave me and a tiny practice amp, kind of like this one, but not a name brand. Let's just say
Right.
not even a Squire. Nothing against Squire,
Right.
but and so I'm in my house that I had just moved into after the band decides to go our separate ways, and I just have this electric guitar, and I didn't play a lot of guitar, so I was like,
Right.
I knew some chords, and I just started writing these kind of like, in my head it was like Liz Phair, vintage Sheryl Crow, just like you know, I
Yeah.
want to soak up the sun.
You said how old were you? How did you say how old you were? when
Oh,
you did
so
this?
this is like
The EP.
last year.
Yeah.
Oh shit. I
Yeah.
thought- okay.
Sorry,
gotcha.
fast forward to like
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
So-
I,
all right.
that
all
was
right.
a total jump in
So-
time.
Yeah, I was
segue.
making
I
sure.
just like, yeah.
throw a segue in there.
The segue. You mentioned playing bass and keyboards in that band. Y'all did a few musical chairs moving around.
We did.
What's your primary instrument? Keyboard?
I would say like I kind of am okay at a handful of stuff like keys and bass, and now I'm pretty okay at guitar. But
so you say you didn't play guitar, but when I listen to the EP, I like hear the way that you're playing the guitar melody lines is very much like you're just playing a bass line.
Totally, that's what I do. Yeah.
To write the movement of the song, and it you're not playing a lot of chords on it. I mean, you're I could tell that that's kind of how you were writing the tunes is more
I had
bass.
Seen
you play bass.
Yeah,
so
totally. So that's kind of like where I was coming from. And it's funny because I had just demos I made on my iPhone in my garage with my PA of me playing guitar and singing, just like really, bare bones, but pretty much full song ideas. And I was like, I don't have like a manager for my solo stuff because, I wasn't like trying to have a manager.
I mean, you're essentially starting over.
Sure.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I find a producer I want to work with and just email them?
Absolutely.
So I did.
Good for
I
you.
emailed this dude named Danny Kelb, who's so awesome, and he did this like Rilo Kiley record. He did this Rilo Kiley record that I liked, and worked on some like Ben Harper and this like Mix some Beck stuff, and I was like, I'll send some stuff his way. I don't know. Anyway, he loved it, and he was like willing to help me out. I had a very tiny budget, and I was like, hey, I only have like 4 days. Could we do this? He's like, I have an idea. Let's make it sound exactly like your garage. We'll do a super lo-fi thing. It'll be pretty much like your demos, just like a little bit better. And so that's what we did. It was like a 3-day thing.
Awesome.
And it was like through that crappy practice amp and my ex's guitar, and but yeah, it was like
It's
now
poetic.
Awesome.
Man,
That's great.
it was like someone told me once that folk art is making art with what you have, and it's like the truest form, because it's like if you have crappy pencils, like, and you still just like draw the best you can, like it's actually more you. Like you feel like it's more.
So I work down at Tool Hippies down the Gulch, and we had Bob Gruen in, rock and roll photographer, in tonight.
Oh my God.
And one of the things he said, which I've heard over and over, like with recording and everything, and one of my professors at MTSU said, it doesn't matter what platform you're using. It matters like who's mixing it. It matters what the song is. It matters who's singing it. It matters who's playing. Like those are the core things that and he said, Bob Gruen said, like it never mattered what camera.
Yeah.
It matters what situation and what you can grab and what you can use with the tools you got.
So good.
So I think that's it. I think when tools can limit you, but I think you're right. That's like the folk kind of thing right there, is you work with what you have and you make art, but it's more of an intent as opposed to like, that everyone's going to think this is beautiful.
Speaking of like the tools you're talking about, it doesn't matter about the camera. Did you see the story about the Time magazine's new run that they're doing? It's like 12 different covers, all women who are influential women. 12 different covers. And all of them were shot by this young, I think she's from Brazil. She got found on Instagram, and she shot all of them with her iPhone.
Wow.
I mean, 12 covers of Time magazine.
I believe it.
Shot on an iPhone.
Well, that's
I mean,
whatever you're gonna.
Yeah.
It depends on what you got.
Yeah, and I mean, she wasn't even. I read the article saying that she had done most of them with like the iPhone 4s and 5s, and because that's what that's what she had.
Wow.
But
it's very telling.
There's something. Yeah, you got creativity is not stipend by. You can have all the tools in the closet and not know how to use them.
There's another guy in town there's a few people that have done it, not just a guy in town, but I know people have just recorded an album on GarageBand.
Yeah.
Or just like did the whole thing on their iPhone, literally just used their phone to capture everything. And
one of the dudes that produced a lot of the songs on Kendrick Lamar's new record, like produced the tracks on his iPhone.
There you go.
Like some 18-year-old kid made tracks for Kendrick Lamar on his iPhone
So
and made it on his
wild.
new record. It's crazy.
See, that's the thing. I mean, for one, iPhones are amazing.
Right.
And for
Sure
two,
are.
like, yeah, but yeah. And it's funny because my EP, not to go back to the EP, but to go back to the EP.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's funny.
that's why you're here.
shameless self-promotion.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's
It's
no
funny
shame.
because I recorded that last March, and then it came out like in this March, I guess. And yeah, I think it was March. Gosh, again, my discography, even of recent.
It happens.
I gotta get, that
Time
tattooed or something.
Time just flies and you forget. You forget
Time
what
flies
goes
when
on.
you're releasing music. But
Yeah.
it's funny because with all music, I remember this being true with my past releases as well. The music that you release is so far behind what you're currently doing.
Right.
And so it's funny because like this EP is kind of what the world is like, oh, this is Kelsey's thing, what we're doing. But even my live show is has elements of that, but not that it's getting less lo-fi or whatever. I just feel like I was in this phase of having to like shake off the dust of being on the road and
Yeah.
being like really polished and
Well, and
Just-
also
yeah.
being, I would imagine. I mean, I know how it is in bands that I've been in when it's a creative collective force, and I don't know
Yeah.
what the family band was like, but it seemed like everybody probably had a lot of input.
totally, yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of
from
people.
listening to the music, it feels like it's like okay, everybody was really giving their, throwing their 2 cents in and kind of, and that's what made the band sound what it sounded like. But that's really stressful.
It
Yeah,
can be.
to manage all that.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah, it
and
really can be,
getting everybody to like the same thing and not get their feelings hurt if something that they pitch doesn't make the song and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So being in the driver's seat and going, this is my songs, I can do it. How freeing was that for you? Like,
So freeing because it was like for the first time I could really decide 100% like what I wanted the bridge to do or what words I wanted to use, because there were some things with being the woman with the boys in the band. It was funny, like there was a lyric I wrote for this song that I love called Closed Doors. It's on the latest record. And it's like this really beautiful and just like rips your heart out breakup song. And the lyric I wrote for the opening line was, touch me like a secret, take my breath and breathe it. But the guys made me change it
they were like,
because they said, touch me like a secret, grossed them out.
huh.
I love it. I love them.
Oh, it was
but
beautiful. All
do you know
right.
what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like, so that kind of stuff. So I like,
sure.
all
oh,
of
yeah.
a sudden
I think
was-
Adam knows. I know. I mean, if you've been collaborative, I don't even think in an artist sense, but in any kind of sense, in a business sense, and I don't know all that. I mean, I don't, when it comes to being in an office space or different things like that, but I know working in any environment I have worked in, there's a lot of ideas incoming. and
Yes.
sometimes they're a little harder to digest at times. Sometimes yours don't get picked.
so true. So true.
I still have a hard time dealing with that.
I always feel like in any collaborative setting, if you can have the patience, if everybody involved can have the patience to push through and go, okay, well, you don't like it, well, then let's come up with something that all of us like. Because if you all make that as a like a mission statement, like we're not going to do any song or anything that not all three of us or all four of us or however many people we all are like, that's how it should be. Because then when you get to that point, it's you've gone through all kinds of layers of crap.
That's true. Yeah.
It's hard,
It's really
especially with people that aren't patient.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
there's some people that are overly patient and want to change things all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's play a Let's talk about this guitar you got over here.
Yeah. So
Is this the guitar?
This is no.
Okay.
This is the upgrade.
Gotcha. All right.
The one I played on the record is a Stratocaster. This is a Fender Mustang.
I was gonna say. All right. Cool.
And that's just 2 single coils in there.
I I guess.
Right? Isn't that what? She goes, I guess.
I don't know. What's it look like? Just kidding.
It looks like, yeah.
I was actually kidding. I'm like not a big gear person.
Me neither.
Okay, cool.
Not really, but it's a cool guitar.
I love it. I love this Squire amp too.
Turn it up just a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
He'll tilt your microphone down a little bit.
Yo yo yo. Yo yo yo. What do you want to hear?
Whatever you want to play.
Well, I have a funny story.
Tell it.
So part of like this record, I really wanted to like have a sense of humor because I feel like a lot of my music up until this point was like, how poetic can you be? How layered and beautiful and intricate can this
tiramisu can you
tiramisu of you?
And I was just like, I want to just tell stories because I actually am just laughing at life and having fun. And so anyway, I was trying to. I got married in October, so
Mazel tov.
Almost a year ago.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
October's a fantastic month
down.
to get married.
Yes, it is almost my 1 year, October 15th.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did you get married in October?
I did get married.
I was gonna say it sounds like you are in October.
I'm an enthusiast. My daughter was born in October.
Oh my gosh, I was born in October too.
Right, there
October 7th.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
All right, Libra.
Yeah.
My girls in my life, my wife and my daughter, all
Wow.
Libras. So that's why we're getting along. So that's
See?
why I knew this. I knew I like the stars.
I
like
knew
ding.
I liked you.
I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to find anyone that probably ran into you and did not like you.
Oh.
I bet you got some enemies. Anyways, I
bet you
digress.
got some-
I bet you got some enemies, and we're gonna leave it at that.
Maybe. Actually, I almost made an enemy when I almost became a bridezilla.
Is
Dun,
this part
dun,
of the?
dun.
Is this the segue?
Yes.
Okay,
Segue
cool.
back to the song. So
Excellent.
this song is called Bunny because there was a woman who was in charge of booking the chapel that I wanted to get married in at Montgomery Bell State Park.
Okay.
And she was so hard to get a hold of. Like every time I called, it was like, Bunny, oh, sorry, Bunny's not here. She had a flat tire and she didn't make it in. Oh, Bunny is at her son's graduation. Like every day I'd call. I was just like, oh, okay, cool, okay. Call back, like, just wanted to get a hold of Bunny. Needed to book the chapel. Anyway, literally the most comical Southern expressions of her being busy. And I was just so annoyed and frustrated. And I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to write a song about it.
Good for you.
So this is called Bunny. Bunny never picks up the phone. Bunny's never ever around. Even when I need her the most, she's never anywhere to be found. She's coming late, leaving early, taking sick days, and she's fine. She's leaving early, coming late, using up her personal time. And I know it's so upsetting. I'm just trying to plan my wedding. Bunny, bunny, you're the one that can help me. My bunny, bunny, you're the one that can help me, help me. I'm going to jump to the bridge for fun.
Do it.
Because I'm the boss
Feel it, girl.
of me. Yeah. Trying to rent the chapel, know what time it is. You gotta get a date saved. Can't invite the kids, want barbecue for catering. But your dad's a vegetarian. I know it's so upsetting. I'm just trying
fantastic.
Sweetness.
And we're back
And
into
we're
the
back.
Out of the cave.
Out of the cave.
That's fantastic.
So you have a very good knack for writing pop melodies. Where does that come from? Like you've got it's catchy. Like everything on that EP is catchy.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Hooks everywhere.
The family band was catchy music, and sometimes people say we'll take being called pop as like a dirty word, but like I don't think it's
not at all.
I don't think it's a dirty word at all in the music business. Like
I worked out to some trap music the other day.
Nice, man.
It was I was into it.
Absolutely.
You guys had some slick production pop music that were just catchy, fun dance tunes. But like that song's just like sitting on the dock of the bay.
Right?
Like just has that little swing to it. What was your first like influences in music?
Honestly, my dad listened to a ton of like John Mellencamp.
Yeah.
And
what part of where are you from?
Minnesota.
Okay.
So I grew up just like listening to rock and roll music, and like my mom I don't know why this just came to mind, but I remember on Saturdays my mom would listen to, who's the saxophone guy?
Kenny G?
Kenny G.
Yeah,
right.
I'm almost positive it was Kenny G. And she just cleaned the house, and it was just...
My mom would clean the house to the Big Chill soundtrack.
What?
Patsy Cline.
The Big Chill soundtrack.
Or Chris Isaac. Sometimes Peter Gabriel, too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Secret World Live. Oh,
I could have said John Coltrane, but I have a feeling that your mom wasn't listening to Love Supreme doing the house chores.
I mean,
if
she
would
have
that would have been awesome.
Yeah. No, but so I had a very diverse upbringing of music. Like it was sometimes like 90s country, and it was
nice.
What was the music that you when you were 13? Like, what was your jam?
Oh my
like, because that's
gosh.
kind of when you really start like going for your own thing. Like for me, that was the golden age of like the grunge era.
That's when I started. That's when I started hiding my albums from my parents.
Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Faith
Absolutely.
More. Like that was my 12-year-old, 13-year-old self.
Totally. I loved Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Like when Jagged Little Pill came out, I literally would put it on. My sister had this like 5-disc changer, and everyone would be out of the house. I'd like close the door, and I'd just like pretend I was on stage and just like sing. And it blew my mind because, okay, also rewind. My grandma is really awesome and was a hippie. And
great,
also,
sure. Let's talk about Graham.
This will make sense. This will make sense.
You're killing it on the segues tonight.
Grandma Carolee was a hippie and gave me all of her vinyl collection when I was young. And so she also told me about Janis Joplin and some other amazing female writers and artists who didn't use their sexuality
feminine wiles to sell themselves.
Yeah, it was like this almost just like masculine meets feminine, very balanced, very strong stage presence, and very strong voice. And so I saw this footage of, I think it was Janis Joplin at I can't remember what festival it was. Sorry, I should have like prepped this story before, but
you didn't know you were going to tell it.
I didn't know I was going to tell it. But anyway, I saw this footage and it blew my mind because I, up until this point, was like Mariah Carey and Celine Dion and all these like, and Britney Spears at the time and Mandy Moore and whatever. And so, seeing and hearing this music that was telling stories that were like, I hate the world today.
Right.
And like asking questions and saying things that didn't sound super pretty, but it sounded like truthful and really storytelling.
Sure.
Kind of blew my mind. So
I like that.
So what age were you when you graduated high school? I'm just because I got some questions.
What
like
age was
86.
that?
Or, not what year. Sorry, I know what age you were.
2004.
You were a child prodigy.
When-
Did you
2004.
graduate at
2004,
13?
right?
So yes,
04?
2005 actually.
Oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So your high school years was 2000 to 2005 ish.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah, because that was like,
yeah,
I mean,
something like
in that time period, music really was like mainstream. That was like the height of like NSYNC,
No.
boy band stuff.
Height
There
Yeah.
was a lot
height of
of
that
no,
was before
no,
that.
no, no,
middle
no,
school.
no.
Yeah.
Middle school. No. I'm telling
you, in 2000, NSYNC was huge.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
still in middle
That's
school.
what I'm saying.
But she was still in
Yeah.
middle school. Yeah.
Well, in the 2001, you were in high school.
Yeah. But
And-
really, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, like
Like there was some
98 degrees.
serious
Oh
pop
my
music in
gosh.
the early 2000s.
But
There
see,
was-
before
there
that though,
wasn't-
I was
yeah.
thinking the other day, like man, Boys to Men before that. Though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that was like I like that.
We
I
were
like
playing,
that.
we were playing DJ at the camp backyard bonfire the other night, and I
Yeah.
broke out some Boys to Men.
It's great.
Oh,
Everybody was
yeah.
like,
You know what I bust out every
God.
now at a campfire and I do it at a karaoke kind of thing every now and then. A little bit of Casey and JoJo. All my dude.
I learned that on piano. I
What's
know
your
it.
what's your go-to karaoke jam? I'm feeling you can rock a karaoke jam.
Top
I-
3. Do you got
okay.
3? I know you got more than one. You just got one.
I really have one I always do, and it's probably annoying all my friends, but it's Boots Are Made for Walking, Nancy Sinatra. It's very
Oh, yeah.
understated. Here's what I do. You keep saying you've got nothing for me. Something I call love. Like, I just, like,
ham it up.
you just, like, walk around and, like,
It
I
helps.
don't care.
It helps if you
So
know
you gotta
the
ham it up.
tune. If
Yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you know the tune really well, and then
Yeah.
you can perform.
I do
That's
that.
the keys. My trick is
Witchcraft?
jumping off stage.
Oh yeah. they
Oh.
I will
love it.
jump off stage.
Kelly
and,
will
like,
get on a bar.
serenade like a female in the audience.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
That's a good trick.
There
I
you
like
go.
that. People like that kind
Fly
of
Me to the Moon's a great one.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Any Frank, if you can bust up Frank Sinatra, and because that's what I that's like I guess I could sum up the way I sang in high school because like I sang in choir, but the reason why I got biased because I could do all the character stuff for all the I couldn't do opera and arias very
Yeah.
well, even though I tried really hard.
But you can impersonate Sinatra.
But now where it paid off now because now like for cover for different gigs or what have you, it's like you know how to at least manipulate stuff a little bit. But yeah, Frank Sinatra, if you can do that at a karaoke,
Strong.
they go
Strong
nuts.
move.
They go nuts.
When did you start trying to write your own music?
Oh my gosh, high school.
Yeah.
So I had, actually,
You said that
I
like you
met-
knew the moment you wrote your first song.
I
Do you remember
do,
what's your
I
okay,
do.
all right, cool.
Oh,
Let's
and what
hear it.
kind of instrument?
Ah.
Like, what'd you do? Like,
So I wrote it.
No shame. No
I
shame.
wrote
We
it
did.
on piano, I think, but then I wrote some songs on guitar after. But it was
Gotcha.
like, it's funny. Anyway, the first song I wrote went like this: the same.
All right.
The same sun warms my face. The same clouds still make my blue sky gray. Something like that. It's so
Sure.
dumb. The whisper in the wind still sings that same song to me. Yeah,
That's
so
something like that.
it was like basically.
Poppy again. So you were right off the gate doing like good melody lines.
I don't know if that was good. I mean, it's pretty.
Did you listen to? Did you watch Sesame Street growing up and stuff?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Probably learned it all from Sesame
Oh, a lot.
Street.
A lot. Like what? I know this. I don't know. That kind of interests me. Okay. What like did you watch cartoons and stuff growing
Yeah,
up? Did you
yeah.
were you interested in the theme songs of the
A
cartoons?
lot. Oh, yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's one of those.
Like, do you remember Wishbone? That wasn't a
Yep.
cartoon, but I was like,
It was a
in
TV show.
fifth
Yeah, yeah. Where
grade.
with the books, where he'd go all over and do the books and everything like
Yeah.
that. All right, that was a good show.
Love
Yeah,
that. show.
I liked Reading Rainbow. I
Oh,
was more
yeah.
on that jam. But again, all the arpeggios and
Oh,
stuff like
yeah.
that. Butterfly in the sky.
It's a good
Like I was like,
So good.
yeah, it's like it's incredible. But I'm always thinking like one of the first bands I ever started writing music for. I realized way after writing a lot, like for H-Beam, after writing a lot of this stuff, that a lot of it I'm like, oh, a lot of this is like video game music, or like Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
or like so like there's stuff in it like G.I. Joe or something like that. Like, and I'm like, I always find it interesting, but
Yeah.
I'm always wondering if people really attached onto like jingles as kids or if like
Oh, I
theme
loved
music. Me too.
Jingles. Yeah.
Like that it's all catchy stuff. It's all melody
The
hooks.
Gum, the Big Red, Double Mint. I mean,
So if the first song you wrote was that catchy right out of the gate, even though the lyric material might be at this point a little, it's you have matured and you're writing what you should have. But at the first time, that's a pretty good go for a first tune, at least for the first little catch of it. It is.
Actually, you know what I remember? This is just all coming to me. This is a very therapeutic podcast. I feel like I'm kind of
cue the self-help music.
Right?
I don't have it here right now. I'll cue some up next time.
So I remember being like probably honestly 5 years old around, because I was in this old house. I remember having a vision. And I would wake up, and before like my parents would come in my room or anything, I would start singing, and it would make me cry. Like singing these songs, I would like feel just like so moved.
At 5.
What songs?
Cool.
Just songs I was making up.
Oh.
But I'm not telling you like I am this like tiny.
No. You had connection though.
But I had this like
connection.
very spiritual feeling of like the flow of like being like, I feel this way too. And there's a couple songs I've written recently that you feel like moved by the music you're playing, and you're creating it not in a mathematical way, but in a mystical way. And it's kind of this.
It's free as a kid.
Yeah.
You're not inhibited.
You're
uninhibited.
Yeah.
Not inhibited. That was just my way of not screwing up uninhibited.
I can't wait to start stealing lyrical ideas from Lily when she can like throw out a line at me. When she throws like a little 4-year-old child wisdom at me, I'm like,
sure.
You just dropped some knowledge. I'm going to write that down.
I'll give you points.
Don't worry. I'll give you points on that one.
But it's... I kind of lost there for a second. Oh, when, like, I get it when if I'm having that connection, and I think that there's times as an adult when you have those connections that a lot of people will associate it with that feeling of being a kid, or feeling like having that, or reminding them of a simpler time or something that they associate as being a kid. But like, yeah, damn, if I could feel like what I was doing and singing and playing and performing like on a stage every single time, the same way my daughter, when she's singing part of their world, is thinking that she's a mermaid. If I could really connect, and people do, I think the great musicians do. That's where you connect to those moments. I don't know. I think that's really cool to have that moment and have recollection of that, of being 5 and having that kind of thing happen. That's pretty cool.
I'm glad I just remembered that moment. I wonder if my parents remember any of that.
So they were obvious. Was music just was kind of around?
Yeah.
Kind of
so
do your parents play? Do you have brothers and sisters that play
music?
music?
Was it always on, or
music was always on? My dad would always be in the garage in Minnesota. You have a huge garage, and it's heated.
What part of
and
Minnesota?
Cooled.
The cold
Blaine,
Blaine.
Ham Lake.
Not Ham Lake. Okay, I was thinking
just
that was
north of the city. But
well, wait a minute. Okay, so Duluth is past that.
Yep, Duluth is straight north.
Okay, my
2
mom's
hours.
from My mom's from Twin Cities, Minneapolis.
way.
Yeah, Brooklyn Park.
Wow.
No, wait, not Brooklyn Park. That's where my cousin was from. She was from, I think it starts with a W or something. Regardless, that's Shinfo. It's shit info. It doesn't matter.
Shinfo.
Yeah, Shinfo. Shinfo. That's my brother's. I got to nod at him for that. But she grew up. She was figure skater. Did the whole. Oh yeah, the whole thing. I mean, she was Minnesota. And she still has a lot of it. Yeah, she just moved to town not too long ago, but she loves that. And she actually was just back there not too long ago with my daughter and my wife. I was not there for that trip, but my wife was there with my mom.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, they had a great time.
Minnesota is so special.
Did you do the figure skating thing? Is that a thing?
I did.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think
also
was
does.
a hockey cheerleader, which
Yes,
means you do
ice.
stunts.
Hold on. My mom did that, and there was another name for it. It's not hockey cheerleaders. It's like, I don't know. They called it something else.
They did?
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta know because we just had the boring old name.
Yeah, she did. My mom went to ice volleys for a little while.
Really?
Actually, a little while. I mean, yeah, good long while actually.
Wow.
So my dad was the music producer, and
the rest
rest is boom. The rest is a culmination of right here.
Wow,
so.
that's amazing.
Do you still own your own skates?
At home, yeah. At my parents' house,
Family still back up Minnesota?
Yes.
Cool.
And my mom, like, is the cutest person in the world, and she'll call me and leave me a voicemail, and it's like, hey, Kelsey, it's your mom. Just calling because I had a band name idea for you.
Yes.
What about Concealed Reveal? I don't know. Food for thought.
We might have the same moms.
I don't know.
They're not talking about conceal and reveal,
Yeah.
but still, that's funny. I love it.
So cute.
It's
Like,
great.
actually, I have a song on the album called Minneapolis,
Yeah.
and it's like
So that's
all
the first one I
about-
listened to. Oh no, I
Yeah.
saw it. Well, of course. Wait, it's the first track on the I think on the demo. Well, it might
I
have
don't
been on the
know.
list,
I
but
think it's like the second one or
regardless,
something.
I saw
Whatever, who cares?
Minneapolis, and I was like, okay, cool. And then as I'm reading your bio, literally as it's playing, I'm like, okay, cool. This is a
Yeah.
great time for this. So that's great.
I love that place.
Yeah, my wife went out there, and she was like, she came back, and she's like, I think I could live in Minnesota.
No.
I'm like,
Wait
it was
Go back
summer. I'm
till
like, honey,
January.
that was July.
Yeah, right.
It's
Like,
amazing
it's
in the
beautiful.
summer.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
All the lakes too. Why
Yeah.
do we have no lakes?
They got to go out
in-
on the lake. We have beautiful. I live on a lake.
There's lakes.
Excuse me.
Where?
Percy Priest, and then if
Don't
you
worry.
go north,
I didn't know about it too until I lived on it. Like I had no idea
No,
it
I
existed.
mean, I guess
I know.
It's
No,
not
let me
Mi-
take
it's
it
not
back.
Minnesota
Yeah,
Lake.
compared to
But I'm
Minnesota,
just saying, like,
it's a
that-
pond. It's a pond.
it's
Yeah.
a pond. Okay.
Center Hill's
Your
nice.
pond
Have you
too.
been? Have you ever gone and spent any time on Center Hill Lake?
I don't know if I.
These
have.
are not. These are.
Center Hill
These are
is-
no big
is awesome.
deals.
Yeah. Well, she's looking for a good
Just-
lake.
I
I'm
know.
trying to
Just
help her out.
listen, I do need some more lakes. Also, now that I have a dog, I really want to introduce her into water.
Yeah.
So.
What part of town do you live in?
We live right northwest, so
Okay.
it's like near Beeman and Bells Bend Park. We're out in the farmland.
So you're really far away from the lakes, then.
Yeah, we're on the other side. So
That's
we,
why you don't see
we
them.
do have the rivers, obviously.
Yeah, because
but
you're close to Harpeth, and
Yeah.
Natchez Trace is out that way,
and the Cumberland.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Does Stones River go out that way too?
Piney River.
Piney River.
I just had to sing that song because
Stones River's over where we
Oh,
are.
Piney River, another song reference. I'm just keeping shouting out my record.
There you
'cause
go.
My song Love Me talks. My song Love Me talks about a river and talks about
I'm gonna
bringing
play
your,
it for you. Right? Can you play it for us?
bringing your friends out to. I can dabble on it.
Yeah, do your thing. Do a little bit.
I'll
It's
sing,
fun.
I'll sing you a part. It's more fun. Like
Sing the part with Piney River in it.
I will.
Alright,
So
cool.
it goes. Sorry, I'm like going through some allergy stuff, but whatever.
Everybody is.
So the song goes, love me if you're really gonna love me. If you're really gonna love me. If you love me, let me go. I love this like crunch.
It's so innocent.
You bring the punch and the tambourine. We'll rent a canoe on the side of the street. Let's go. Oh, Piney River. It's supposed to be meet in the middle. Praying for rain 'cause the water's low. It might not be deep, but it's always cold. Let's go. Oh, Piney River. This is fun, guys. We know they notice. We move like we're playing jazz. We got good educations, bad reputations, live life without a plan. Always saying, love me if you're really gonna love me. If you're really gonna love me. If you love me, let me go. Cool, I'll do a bridge. 'Cause what we started got lost in the background. Have they bought it, that thing we used to sing about? Always saying, love me if you're really gonna love me. If you're really gonna love me. If you love me, let me go. Killing it.
Yeah,
Guys,
it's fun.
Bong,
new
bong.
band.
I
Call us
love
if
the
you
way
ever-
that song.
If you need a
the-
pickup band, we're good.
the way that lands on the ending right there. That's my favorite. If you love me, let me go. Like the
Yeah,
way you
kinda
ended that,
cut
just
it.
It was that was
Again,
a great.
Another good poppy trick in the.
So when you were in the
poppy
studio
trick.
working on that, like, how hard was it to dial? Like, did you have any times where you're like, maybe we could add a little bit more of this, or what about that? Like, and did you have to go, no, we're gonna dial it back, or did the producer say no, we'll dial it back, or
Kind of both. We actually had a little meeting. We went to Rose Pepper Mexican restaurant for dinner the night he got here. He's living in Cincinnati. He moved from LA to Cincinnati like I think a year ago or something. So he came down to Nashville. We had dinner, and he was like, "We got to keep each other in check. You're not making a polished record."
right?
He was like, this was what you asked me, and now I'm like telling you we both have to keep each other accountable. We're not gonna like do a million takes.
Right.
I want this to sound like you. We're not gonna auto tune everything. We're gonna have shitty guitar and
Yeah.
like because we wanted
We're not gonna overthink this.
we
thing.
wanted it to have that feeling of like authentic mess ups
Yeah.
because I was so sick of being perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and so.
And then
Yeah.
the name Babysitter
Worktapes.
So
So
that's part of your that's your day hustle, right?
that's my day hustle.
That's it.
So
That's your day hustle.
honestly, like babysitting is such a good paying job.
Are you a
If
full time for multiple
Wait a minute.
families
You
or
get
one
paid.
family?
Oh wait, it's not yours. That's why.
it's not mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was like babysitting. Wait, I'm not
What is-
getting
You're
a check.
like, I don't right.
It's all right.
Not your
It's
own
all
kid.
memories and feels. I get it in. It's
Yeah.
that. I get paid memories, feels, and exposure. That's the way I get
Isn't
paid.
that amazing?
It's amazing.
Yeah, mine I get the Benjamins.
Are you a nanny or a babysitter?
So here's my gig. This is crazy. So this family is awesome, and I'm basically their household manager. So I get paid a full-time salary to like run their dry cleaning, do like Swiffer now and then, do their laundry, and like I have a to-do list. And when I get that done, I have my own free time. And I just have to pick up the girl from school and have her from 3 to 6. Maybe I'm giving too much info to the internet world because, you know.
well, they don't know who they are. We
Yeah,
won't-
that's
no
it's all
names.
good, and it won't be.
But
yeah,
anyway,
still,
it's
okay.
amazing.
I want
like,
that job.
and
I would be
she's
good at that.
10,
Do you have to cook
so-
for them?
No. I mean, they.
So
Would
she's
you?
like taking care of herself.
Could you be like, hey, for an extra this, I'll have dinner ready for you when you get home.
I wouldn't because that's just not my thing.
Not a
I'm
cooker?
not good. Although today I did throw in a pot roast for her,
There
which
you
was the
go.
first thing. But
Cool.
it's great. So I do have time. I think I'm slowly going to be transitioning into doing more just music stuff, hopefully. Going to maybe do the songwriting, publishing deal thing, maybe. You know, write some pop songs and country songs for other people,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know. I've
well-
always been kind of anti that, but now I'm kind of like, I think it'd kind of be fun to write some songs for others.
Got to jump head
Or
first.
well, and also I would imagine there was a freedom to writing a song that you're like, I would never sing this, but somebody would. You know what I mean? And
You've
you
written
can,
a couple of those.
I have. I
Seriously.
have. I've written
good
some,
ones,
you know, I've,
yeah.
like it's kind of fun going, okay, I'm just going to try and write like what I think is a country song. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not, I would never go out and try and be a country artist or
Yeah.
you know, so you'll kind of, I bet you'll be pretty good at it because you'll be able to go, okay, I don't have to work within the restraints of like what I would sing.
Yeah, the cred.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm not worried about singing this on stage. Someone else
Yeah.
will do it, and you can get into character. You can go, what is this? Who would be singing this?
Yeah, there was this one idea I had with my husband. We like love writing joke country songs.
Is
and
he a musician?
Yeah. He actually is a sound engineer, so he tours a lot. He's actually gone today, and it's also his birthday. But
Oh, happy birthday.
happy birthday, Marshall,
There
wherever
you go,
you
Marshall.
are.
Happy birthday, road dog.
Road dog. So true. But he plays drums, so we kind of like have a jam space in our house and play
Did
a
he
lot.
play drums
together.
on your LP,
He didn't.
EP?
I
Oh.
played drums.
Did you play all
Sweet.
everything?
I did.
That's awesome.
Actually, my friend Aaron Simon did bass on a couple of the songs, but overall,
Yeah.
I dabbled.
Sure.
But anyway, one country radio song is called "I Peaked Early," and it's about a guy in high school who like peaked early. But it's like the first verse is he opened his presents too early at Christmas. And then it's like
my
I peaked early.
God,
And
Yes.
Like
I peaked
you know what
early.
I'm
It's pretty
saying?
funny.
Yes.
For a country
And
song.
then
I
it's
already
like-
know how the other verses go. That's how
know.
good this song is.
That's the kind of shit I want to write. Like,
damn.
you know, publishers out there, hello.
Yeah.
I'm available.
Sign her up.
Well, is there any interest in doing a solo record, a full length
Yes,
album?
absolutely. That's what I kind of. The reason I want to maybe move into writing more is I need more time. Even though my job is flexible, there are times where it's just not at all, and I have to like cancel co-writes, and I have to like do studio time at like 6:30 or Saturdays, and it's
Right.
just hard. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to juggle.
Do you have an idea of what? Do you have the songs chosen, written, ready to go? Like,
yeah. Oh my
do
gosh.
you know what kind of album you want to make?
That's the thing. I don't know for sure. I know I definitely want a more complete sound. Like I want.
Because I have a feeling that you could make a full on just dance feel good record like that,
Yeah.
like because I've seen you like to dance.
Yeah, I do. Like
we
to
follow you
dance.
on the Instagram. You post videos of you.
I do love.
You
to
do
dance.
love to. You post videos of yourself dancing. But I could see you like almost even going into like you could put out a hell of a disco record. I bet.
Dude, that would be cool.
Yeah, like
I
a real
love.
lo-fi
like
disco
a
kind
real
of
like
thing.
lo-fi
Yeah,
disco
yeah.
thing.
Even that
Ooh.
I
video.
didn't know like, but what you know.
Who did the video? Who produced the video that you just put out?
The one I just did. That's kind of the screens.
Yeah.
This guy Mike Kluge.
Mike Kluge.
He's real cool. He's an East Nashville dude, and he actually like has done some really cool. So my first show I played solo, with my new band. I just play as a 3-piece with a bass player and a drummer, and we played this cool event called something, I don't know. Anyway, it was this event. They had like a visual art segment. They had all these like things going on. It was at this warehouse downtown. It was really cool. Anyway, he did this installation with all these video cameras and like time lapse. It was so cool. And we met, and I was like, hey, could you do a video for me? He's like, absolutely. Let's
Cool.
do it. So anyway, he did.
That's great. What was
Long
his name
story
again?
long.
What was his name again?
Mike Kluge.
Mike Kluge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
cool.
you find on my Instagram, scroll to that and you'll see I tagged him. Look at his Instagram.
Okay.
It is cool. He
It's
just
fire, huh?
Yeah, and he just did like Paramore's visuals.
Oh,
Maybe we can get him on the show.
Get him
Future
on.
guest
Get him on the
idea.
show.
We like to see where
He-
so we link. We like leapfrogs.
Yeah.
Different. All the
He's a
different-
really interesting cat
Networking.
too. Like he's really cool. I had a blast. It was just us in his like little studio, and I was like, "So am I doing a good job?" You know.
That's
Anyway.
awesome.
So he was cool.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
What was the? What's some of the? I want to go back to your times of having the funds on the roads with the.
Yeah.
What were some of the like best like shows you had? Like, what's a show that sticks out to you the most? Where you're like, man, this was us at our like
At the
best crowd, best venue. Like, which one? Like, that always interests me. Like, what? Because I know I can have that answer for other bands that I played with. Like when I played with Matt and his band called H-Beam, and we played live on the Green.
Oh yeah, yeah,
For,
yeah.
I mean, opening for them. Here come the Mummies, and
awesome.
I mean,
That
it was
that
it was
crowd. It was
Halloween.
fun.
We were right before them, and like it was a
It was wild.
big crowd.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's like one of those moments with that particular band. I'm like, that was
That
that
was
was
that
fun.
was
the one.
awesome,
That was
and
fun.
everything
Yeah.
feels
Epic.
good.
Yeah, epic even.
like what?
So what do you think?
What you think? Is there one that sticks out to you?
Gosh, There are
Or
definitely
There's a bunch of 'em.
There are definitely a bunch. It's funny because there were so many that I remember like having that moment. There was this one actually there was this Lollapalooza after party where it was our band and then this band Blind Pilot, and it
Yeah.
was at Lincoln Hall, which is just a really cool space in Chicago. And there's this moment. So the show is kind of like all this ruckus. We're all jumping around playing stuffed drums and whatnot. And then there is a segment where just Gabe and I, we were the co-lead vocalists. He plays his guitar and we both sing. And it's like just this kind of acoustic thing. We usually do like 4 or 5 songs, and we have this song called Change, and it's such a like tender song. And you know, we've played in just a handful of bars, hands full of bars,
Right.
and
Boatloads
of bars. But at this moment, it was like you could hear a pin drop, and it felt like the audience was just like breathing with us. And it was like,
you have the best damn way
like
of
paying
putting all
attention.
those things.
Oh,
They were paying
man.
attention.
You just because you worded that with few words and perfectly to where you totally conveyed. You've done that a few times tonight where it's like, but yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Where you're like, and
it's magic.
And I think we looked at each other, and Gabe and I have had a very roller coaster of a relationship, friend-wise, throughout the 10 years. And that was a moment when we were like looking each other in the eye, and it felt really good, and we felt very like transparent to each other. And so, yeah, because we went through phases, and especially towards the end where we weren't really talking. And so that kind of makes things really hard. But that moment was very special, and like, hey, look what we built together, you know?
That's wild.
In this good taps, so I'm kind of going back a little bit, but you talked about when you were younger, your grandmother kind of turning you on to strong female artists.
Yeah.
And as a musician and a father of a young daughter, I've now found myself far more in tune to making sure she gets those influences.
Absolutely.
You know, who were some of the ones that out now? Who are some contemporaries that you think are still carrying the torch of, like, for me, like Alison Mossert?
Absolutely,
When I saw her, when I'd kind of heard of the Kills, but then when I saw her play with the Dead Weather, it was when they were touring for their first album, and they did their first show at the War Memorial, and I went and saw them, and I was just like, what is? I mean, she
great.
is like, it was like Iggy Pop meets what's her name? Grace Jones almost. You know what I mean? Or
Grace Jones. Grace Slick.
Grace Slick?
No, I'm thinking of Grace Jones. Like she was the black artist that always had the like buzz cut, and she was in like futuristic sci-fi movies. You know Grace Jones?
No, I don't. I was like Grace Slick.
Sorry, Grace Slick.
No,
Jefferson Airplane.
No, but
yeah.
but like she's a force.
Yeah.
On stage.
She is. Absolutely.
Who are some out there that you
like
think?
currently?
You said
I
Alanis
mean,
Morissette earlier.
definitely
I still count her
Alanis
as current. So.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, I love podcasts, and I listened to her Super Soul Sunday with Oprah interview.
Okay.
It's great.
I bet.
I mean,
I'm gonna
it's
go
great.
listen to that.
It's so great. I was like,
because Oprah's awesome, and
Oprah
so's
is
Alanis.
I love her podcast, and it's very.
I didn't know she had a
thoughtful.
podcast. Oh, of course she has.
You gotta
podcast.
listen,
Of
and
course.
it's every Sunday, and yeah, they're always very inspiring, like spiritual people from all different walks of life.
Sure. What other podcast are you listening to? I know. We'll go back to what we were talking about.
Totally.
Yes. Well,
Gosh.
sorry.
My question.
I guess answer the
mean-
question. Answer the question first.
Okay,
let's
first.
Not,
Who are
let's
some
not divert.
contemporary? Like who are some that are out there?
I mean, people that I admire for, because it's not all about stage presence. Like, I mean, you can wear whatever you want, but I think like some voices that are really saying something are, Alabama Shakes.
Yeah.
And even like Casey Musgraves, I think, has like a cool way of, pushing the bar and challenging, the traditional country listener to maybe think outside the box, or maybe even paint a picture that's against the grain of what they're used to.
Sure.
And she
Pink?
kind of has the whole like if on the surface it looks very like candy.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
And saturated, but then when you dig into her music and her lyrical content is a little bit more biting at times. For
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by the whole like her stage presence is definitely like
right.
Not stage presence, but her presentation of
saccharine.
Yeah.
Like, when did you like when did you break through as a performer? Do you remember that? Like, because when you start getting on stage and performing, like there's a certain level of like anxiety, or you're like you don't let go, you don't want to look stupid, you don't want to mess up, you don't want, and then you slowly get those layers off. But like, do you have a moment, or how long did it take before you realized like, this is how I'm going to be on stage? Like I'm not gonna I'm gonna just perform and have fun.
I think when that happened was when it was after so many shows. Like, I don't know when or like how many years into performing, but there was something that clicked when I realized every night we were putting on this show, but the people who were watching, I was watching them.
Right.
Like, they were my show that night. And so I realized for a moment, like, we're both giving each other something. Mm-hmm. And so when I all of a sudden put myself in their position, and this is something, I don't know if my speech teacher told me this in college or high school or what, but I've always had this thought of, if you're nervous to like give a bachelorette speech or, sing a song, consider the people who are about to listen. And they're like, if you were them, you'd just be like at ease, like, you're about to play a song. That's kind of enjoyable. Like,
sure,
it's great. That's really nice. And
here comes even a speech at a wedding. It's like, okay, here comes the speech that everyone's going to give. Okay, great, cool.
Great speech. Who cares? Like, no one actually cares. Like, if you just relax. And so I think something like in that understanding and seeing the crowd that they're just there to have fun and you're the one on stage, but you can kind of like, I've always loved being kind of like, I don't know, not being the center of attention at all, but I've always loved like throwing stuff at people, like, I don't know, like my parents, my family.
Like
I love
literally throwing stuff at them?
Just
hey,
like
catch!
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, that's
making
heads up.
Hey, one out.
Heads up. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
T-shirt cannon.
We actually threw stuff at our shows.
Yeah,
So that's why I asked. So.
Yeah, no, not actually, but that's great. But yeah,
but it was with the family band, like.
I mean, yeah,
that you were like, I'm gonna I can turn it up a notch.
But
yeah,
you'd interact with the
definitely.
audience. You'd interact with your surroundings, whatever environment you were in.
Yeah, and I had to kind of, and I think through, also, I'm very into yoga. I don't know if we've talked about yoga
Not
or
yet,
anything.
but we will.
But through the process of yoga, I kind of realized being in the present moment is like the only way you don't have pain and suffering. Like, if you're, okay, not the only way.
I got you.
But one philosophy of thinking, and one that resonates with me currently, is, if I'm thinking about the future, that's anxiety, that's fear, that's, whatever. If I'm thinking about the past, that could be anger, that could be whatever. But in this moment, if I can like breathe, feel all the feelings, whether good, bad, whatever, and just like stay, it's here, and that's just what it is. There's no fear, there's no madness, there's no whatever. But okay, so how does that apply to music? So every night we play the same set, and it's like, to not go crazy, I had to realize like this song has to speak to me and do something to me in a very honest way. Otherwise I'm just faking it and it's acting. And so,
well, and also the audience wasn't at the show last night in Spokane.
Yeah, right.
That's
And regardless, even if some of them were, there's people that follow those shows, like the people that like one of my buddies went and saw Tool on that last tour, 3 shows. They literally played the same set.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what the pros do.
Every single
I mean,
night.
a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
It would be tough. I've never been in that situation.
Well, you can't say all the pros do that. I think it's situational.
Well,
I think
that's true. Pearl Jam doesn't.
Well, there's
but I'm sure like when I go see the Foo Fighters in a couple of weeks, they're going to be playing the same set that they played in Kentucky the night before.
Could be.
I'm guessing.
Metallica was doing different sets. When they were doing
I don't know, but maybe at a certain level when you have 10 albums you can pull from.
Sure.
That's true.
Fish doing 12 nights, wasn't that, or 13 nights, wasn't it?
Baker's
13
Dozen.
night Baker's Dozen. That's right.
Do you know about this?
Someone said they didn't
They didn't repeat a song.
Repeat a song.
They played a 13-night run at Madison Square Garden. Whether you're a Fish fan or not,
that's impressive.
For anybody to do that is you can't deny them.
So
then they didn't repeat one song for 12 nights.
Wow.
13 nights, no song repeats, and their shows are like
Garth Brooks
4
did
hours
12 shows here in town and sang the same show every night. I'm sure.
Have you ever seen Garth Brooks perform?
Not live.
It's pretty.
I've seen a lot of videos.
It's a pretty amazing experience. I will say. He's
wet your pants, slap your mama, eat cornbread. Good. Yeah, it's good.
I love that.
Yeah. It's good.
Gosh, wow, wet your pants.
But Alanis Morissette, no, it's good. Sometimes it's a good wet your pants. It's like one of those like you earned it kind of. I don't know what that means, but
you earned it.
But speaking of like live performers, so one of the first times I actually got before when Alanis Morissette first came out, liked it. And we'll keep going back to Alanis. It's cool, but I remember later on going to a show somewhere, and I was going to see the opener because I was really into the opener. And Alanis Morissette was actually the headliner, and I was thinking to myself, really like, I'm just gonna go for them. I'm only gonna stay for like a song or two for Alanis Morissette because for some reason I just had the mentality. I stayed for the entire thing for Alanis Morissette. It was one of the best. To this day, like band-wise, like the way tight as all get out. It wasn't like one of the most over the top. It was at like a fair, like kind of thing. But I mean, it was like so. This was it was just past all of the hits are out kind of thing. I keep trying to remember who. I don't even remember who was opening. It was that damn good.
Yeah.
But she's just so epic live. Like
you have to listen to Super Soul Sunday with Oprah and Alanis.
I can't wait. So back to the podcast. Then.
Yeah, back to the podcast.
So podcast then.
Okay, let me just open my podcast.
Oh, she's just gonna go through the list
because I am such a podcast freak. I mean Terry Gross. Fresh Air is
Have you subscribed to our channel on iTunes like you can too, folks, on the iTunes podcast? That's right. You can search Cannot Be Stopped. That's one word, cannot be stopped.
You could go back and listen. We had Jillian, you talked about yoga. We had Jillian St. Clair.
Yeah.
Yes, I love her. She's amazing.
She is pretty amazing.
She's so good.
She can't be stopped.
She knows her shit.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
She's brilliant. Seriously.
I keep thinking about doing the DVD that you gave me, the
primary series.
I keep thinking about it.
Get it?
But see, I've been so here, you did yoga too.
Yes.
The yoga too. So we're gonna do the podcast. Let's do podcast. Actually, no. Let's just stay on yoga right now because we're going with the flow because it feels good because we're just kind of hopping to and from. Like, so what do you do yoga every day? Do you do yoga? Do you try to do yoga every day? Do you do every week, every month?
Yeah, I try to do something every day.
Sure,
like whether it's just sitting, meditation. Like I try to live my life in comfortable clothes that I can like cat-cow
do
in
whatever
and
I like that.
Move around.
So
but
you don't have a specific time of day like you got to do in the morning. Yeah. You try to do. You just whenever.
Whenever. Now that I have a puppy, which I feel like everyone's like, now that I have a child.
Yes.
But now that I have a puppy,
puppies are a lot of work.
It's so fun though. Like I don't know how I lived a day without her. I'm serious. She's everything. I love her so much. But she's so sweet. She's a little German Shepherd, 3 months old.
Little German Shepherd. She is young.
So cute.
Because you won't be. Oh shit.
Yeah, cute.
What's her name?
May.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet puppy.
She's the sweetest.
My daughter's Dolly May. Is it M-A-E?
Really? M-A-E, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Dolly May. There you go.
Dolly May. I love that.
She'll have to meet. She loves doggos.
Oh.
Loves some doggos.
Gosh. Oh, we got to get them together.
Do you babysit? No, I'm just kidding.
Right? Do you babysit? Wait a minute. Do you? Yeah, I have this new program. It's like I babysit, but I also bring my dog. It's like dog therapy.
You know what? She would flip. And in fact,
actually,
no. Well, she actually went with my wife. They went and visited one of her nanny base. For the summer, she had a nanny.
Yeah.
Friend of ours, but she has a boxer, like a smaller boxer, Ellie. Yeah. She can't come over without Ellie because Dolly would just have a fit. it will not stand. She would have to go right back and get Ellie.
Oh,
We're dog
cute.
house. We love dogs
cute.
everywhere. So yes.
So dogs.
Yes, it would be a
good.
dog. It would be a babysitting
Dogs
dog
and
adventure.
yoga.
That's right.
That
Dogs
would
and
be cute.
yoga.
That would be so good.
Have you practiced like in a studio? Do you do it all? Is it your
so
own?
I actually did.
I've seen you at Steadfast a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done Steadfast. I actually did. I am a teacher, and
What?
I did my training out in Ojai, California, and with Saul David Ray. So I studied Atma Yoga, the yoga of the soul. And
This conversation, I feel like with yoga, just went from like thinking like, oh, cool. It's just like
So
you
you do
do yoga. I
yoga.
do yoga like every like I do. I try it every day.
that's
It's like,
amazing.
oh, but I teach, and it's like,
no.
oh,
I
shit.
just wanted to like tell you like
it's what you
have,
have a background. You
I have a
history.
background. I have a
That's
background in
badass.
yoga, but honestly,
So
like
California-
everything, I don't take anything too seriously.
Sure.
So it's like very.
That's
fun
what it should
and-
teach you to
and
do,
whatever.
though, is
Right,
to not
yeah.
take it.
When's the last
Absolutely.
time
Good.
that
It's working.
you
then.
taught a class?
I
mean, have you ever
taught a
had a period
class.
in your life where you were teaching classes? I mean, you were pretty busy playing music for a while.
So every time since I like finished my training, we would do pre-show yoga at Kopecky shows.
Nice.
Where we would have a meet and greet that was yoga. So it would be a free yoga class before the show.
That's a great idea.
That's brilliant.
And it was super fun. So we did that a lot. And then I just got back from a tour, and I taught a couple classes on that tour as well. So I do a
Where
lot
were you
of
touring?
actually, well, this last tour I did was in Europe. We did 5 countries, all over the place. Started in Germany, ended in Spain. I was supporting this band, Joseph.
Joseph from
Joseph.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, and just with my guitar, just me and the guitar.
Just by
but-
yourself.
Nice.
And then
That guitar right there.
that guitar.
And a little tiny amp.
And I actually brought a color box and didn't bring an amp. I went direct.
Nice.
Color box.
It's
Yeah.
like this really sweet little
Yeah, they're badass.
badass
It
little
is,
thing.
yeah.
Because I couldn't afford to bring an amp.
See,
to
that's
Europe.
so I'm trying to talk to these guys for the exact same reason because I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how we're gonna get to Europe next year to do kind of
Yeah.
the same kind of thing because the States just isn't working out
Yeah.
the way it is. It's just it's not good unless you try to do something completely out of the norm or different, break through it. And I'm not saying I'm looking for the easy road out. I'm just saying that if I have to do that work, I want to go to Europe.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather do that and see some cool stuff as opposed to like go and see like granted it's
I've
beautiful
played
states,
enough
Georgia,
small places.
Alabama,
Yeah.
Kentucky. No, it's cool, but I've enjoyed my experiences. But it's really time to go. Just why not and try it out?
Why
But yeah,
not?
looking at a little small like direct that's that amp company Quilter that
Okay.
does the same exact thing. But I went and actually played on the rigs today. So their little amp heads are 2 pounds, typically like 2 to 2.8 pounds.
Yeah.
And then the cab, it all is like it's like 11 pounds all together. And it's like it's huge. And that's where I was today. I was like playing it. I was like, well, this is it. Like you throw it over your shoulder, and it's huge. And so it's one of those things. So finding those things, so that's so cool. So how many
Yeah.
weeks were you over in Europe? You said
It was
just a
4
couple-
weeks.
Man, that's a
5
was-
countries in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's some hustling.
That's great.
Insanity.
How many shows?
I don't know.
And did you know how did you know the people from Portland?
So
Oregon?
they are on ATO.
Oh, ATO. Okay.
record. So we met years ago when they opened for us in Portland. Then they signed with ATO probably like a year ago, but we stayed friends. And so my husband was our sound engineer for Kopecky and tour manager. And when we stopped touring, he worked with a bunch of different bands, but then they needed a tour manager. So they hired him like a year and a half ago. And then they were like, Kelsey, do you want to open? I was like,
Oh,
this
hell
is
yeah.
a family affair.
That
That's
works
so
out.
great.
So it's been really fun.
Cool.
They're super supportive.
So
and
you were able to go
they
over there
like the
with your
music.
husband.
Yeah, with my husband and
Damn.
work.
Yeah.
So
Good
it
for
was
you. That's
perfect.
a good trip. That's
It was
cool.
great. It was really great. So yeah, so that's how that happened.
That's pretty wild.
Have
Okay,
you
so back
have
to
you been in talks with ATO about your own thing?
You know,
I mean, is
sort
that
of.
a simmering in the thing?
You know,
or?
there have been a couple labels that I've chatted with, and nothing really felt right, and I just wanted to put the music out. And
Right.
I think maybe for the full length, I
Get it done and then shop it around.
yeah, and if nothing feels right,
you're gonna create it
down
regardless.
yeah, like I just want to put out music.
Well, and that's a conversation that we've had. Me and Matt have had a bunch. It's like in this age of how do you make it as a band anymore? Because I was.
You just make art.
Yeah, you just keep making it, but like I mean,
you don't make as a band.
You know, with Kopecky Family Band, y'all got all the way to the Tonight Show, you know, and then like people think, oh,
it's like
man,
that's the equivalent
like,
of level 5 on Kung Fu on Nintendo.
It's like oh man, they've made it, but like it's just you did, and then it get reset, and then it's like, well, how do I make noise now? Like you can't get back in a van and tour shitty clubs again and all that kind of stuff.
It's
and there's people
hard.
that are making it now. And I've told Matt, I think it's down to winning the internet. Like it's
the internet.
It's the winning the internet, and figuring out how to make a presence on the internet and create content that way.
Yeah, and honestly, like it all is so exhausting. I just don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Like I would rather just like have fun in my practice space with my friends, because I just don't care anymore. Like I don't care. Isn't that bad?
No, because
when you say you don't care about the idea of like touring and making a living as a musician. Yeah,
I mean, really, all I want to do is like have fun, because actually there were parts that should have been more fun. And listening to that podcast about Alanis Morissette, I like related so much to some of the things she was telling Oprah, because she was talking about
more fun. That's interesting.
The parts that should be the best, the parts that look like the highlights on Instagram, like when they don't actually feel like fuel, they feel like exhausting in different ways. And then all of a sudden you go to your garage and your PA and you plug in and you feel like so alive. You're like, why does that feel so much better?
Yeah, it's almost like how the bigger band will go and play small clubs again to get back to, like, as cliche as it sounds. It's like it's across the board. I mean, that's when the Stones are doing that, when Paul McCartney's doing that, when Bob Dylan, I think, did that recently. It's like, but again, that's where I think it's a great mindset to have. And I don't know, I think more or less, like, I'm even looking at it whereas, like, look, I don't have a goal, because I'm stealing from that whole thing. If like you have a goal, that means there's a finish line.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like I don't, and like that's like when people come into the store or any of the places I've waited tables, or think, oh, are you trying to make it? And it's like, well, I hope I keep trying to make it like every day.
Yeah,
like
right?
I want to make, like, you make art, you make your life.
Yeah.
Like if you stop creating, regardless if it's, art or a gadget or a change in somebody else's life, or you're bringing water to places that don't, regardless, I don't know. I just think that if you're doing it for not the sake of like an end goal or the sake of someone's acknowledgement, but you're doing it because it's like kind of in that same way where it's like, I don't know, I'm going to keep doing it. If they want to take me to Tonight Show, if they want to take me a further, if they want to take I'll go. But I'm not going to let that be the thing where it's like, I got to get to that. I got to have that. If there are some things, I got to play the Ryman.
Yeah.
I got to someday. Like
Yeah.
it's commitment to myself. If I bearing any unforeseen catastrophe like a meteor or something like that, I'm going to go play the Ryman in my own. It's just.
You will. And
I
it's
will,
so good. Like, I don't mean to say, like, I have a vision and I have a very clear goal and not finish line, but like focus for my music. So it's not like I'm just like, I don't care, I'm just going to sit on the couch and eat Cheetos. It's like, absolutely, we need those like measurable goals. But as far as like my goal doesn't have things that are like, this many views or this many followers, because I can't anymore.
No,
I think am going to lose my mind.
I think that's starting to like. I think a lot of people are kind of catching on. I don't know. As silly, weird as it sounds, I've kind of feel like I've taken a turn like you have, or in the past, like on Facebook, where it's just like I realized the other day, it's like, man, I haven't been on Facebook in like weeks.
Yeah.
Like aside from putting like Matt and Adam stuff up. I mean, I'll go on Instagram and every now and then I'll do stuff, but then I realized where it was just kind of like one of those things where I'm like, I think I just like I started getting. I realized that Oprah, for example, she ain't checking her feed. She's not worried about. Now, granted, she has other people putting stuff on her feed, but the thing is regardless, I think you have to have great things to put on the feed.
Yes, yeah.
And if you focus more on, instead of like, oh, I got to make content, but you just make great stuff, and then more than likely someone else is going to be like, oh shit, I'm going to take a picture of that, or I'm going to like, here's this, or I'm going to tell my friends about this, or I'm going to do it. So focus again on getting yourself right, getting that right before you get your selfie right.
Whoa. Wow, mind blowing.
Sorry, I had to get deep.
That was amazing.
This turned into a Sam Harris podcast.
Well, no, the content thing though, like I started a new group recently.
Yeah.
And for no other reason than I was just like, I need to play loud, distorted rock guitar music with a band again. Yeah. I'm tired of not being in a band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm pushing 40 years old and I'm starting another rock band.
That's awesome.
And the idea of going, okay, well, what's the goal of it? Like, the goal is not to get in a van and go play in college bars and all that. Like, we're gonna try and do a live record at actually Lidge, the guy who did who was the engineer at Bonnaroo that ran the Bonnaroo radio. We actually had him on, and I've done a few favors for him.
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, I got, I scratch your back, you scratch mine type thing. And so I want to go and do basically like what he does at Bonnaroo Radio in his studio.
Oh, that's
like have an audience come in, and that's the goal, is to like write 10, 11 tunes, go in there and perform them with an audience, and then I have it done, and then if we do some shows after that,
fun.
Yeah, and when you make it that finite of a goal, it's like I just want to create this piece of art or music or whatever it is, and then
the funny
let
thing
the cards
about,
fall.
Okay, I love that so much, and also the one thing when I moved to Nashville was I just want to make a CD.
Yeah, I just want to make a record.
Like, I just want to make a CD.
Like,
I didn't know how people made CDs.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like, I was like, I don't know. How do you make a CD? I need to make a CD. And so, like, me and my friend, Laura, we have this project called Feather and Bell. She plays violin, and it's all this string stuff. And we are best friends. And so we just wanted to make music to show our kids. One day we were like, this is our friendship band and whatever. And so we...
Feather and Bell?
Feather and Bell, yeah.
And she
it's
plays
on
strings,
Spotify, yeah. She
and
plays
then
strings.
you play
like
nothing?
keys, bass,
okay.
All the things. But it's, it's really beautiful, like cinematic music. It's on Spotify if you want to listen, just for fun. Not
interested.
Yeah.
But anyway, we always make this joke like, all we wanted was a CD.
Yeah.
Like we look at each other and we're like, all I wanted was a CD. You know, it's like a funny joke.
I can't tell if you're going into this like I'm John Lennon, like I just wanted to make a CD, or like you sound kind of almost like that.
What's that voice?
What is that?
Okay, so it's
what
kinda-
character is that?
it's-
Because I have voices I do. They're my
I
characters.
have a few, but the one I've been doing, that one is just this weird, like, I don't know. I just want to make a CD. But the one I've been doing lately is like, it's going to be huge. And it's like my Alec Baldwin,
Your
Donald
Alec
Trump.
Exactly. Your impression of
It's so
Alec Baldwin
bad.
doing a...
It's going to be huge. I have the girl I babysit doing that. I was like, hey, do this. Just go like this with your hands and go, it's going to be huge. And she does it, and it's so funny.
Oh, my word.
Because you can teach people whatever you want.
Oh, my goodness.
You can.
I've got a 4-year-old that I'm just throwing things at her.
Oh, yeah.
Today, my 2-year-old goes, I was drinking some kombucha, and she likes to drink kombucha. And it was the bottle was sitting up on the thing, and I was downstairs, and I heard her go, Mommy, I want to drink kombucha.
Oh,
like,
cute.
Like right out I was... no troubles at all. Just said kombucha, and like hearing a 2-year-old go, I want to drink some kombucha.
It's coming,
like,
man.
what?
Winter's coming, man. I'm telling you.
That's amazing.
Words are about to come out. Other day, this
trippy.
is the best one last week. Mom, you're a bad mama jamma. And it's just like, yeah.
You're a bad
bad
mamma
mamma jamma.
That's pretty cute.
It's the best.
How many kids
Man.
you got to wrangle at one time?
Oh, just the one.
The one?
Just the one.
What's the age?
10.
A 10-year-old.
It's so easy.
I was about to say,
It's
like,
so
they're doing
easy,
their own
guys.
thing. I mean,
yeah, wow.
And she's smart and she's awesome and she like listens to my songs and she'll like I have this playlist of just like songs I've written to whatever and I'm like, listen, what do you think is the best? What do you think is the best?
oh my god.
She'll be like, well, I love this song, but I think you need to end this one different. It doesn't like, and she like is really expressive and she like sings all my songs. It's
You got
so
market
cute.
research right there. That's a valuable
It
commodity.
is.
A 10-year-old like looking at your music. That's like your
She's so honest too.
regardless of like what you're making, you kind of have to think like that's your audience.
Yeah.
Like that was
Absolutely.
I mean,
So you can get a 10-year-old listening to you.
She goes, you know, like she'll just say the funniest things. Like,
you know it's cool.
you know, you could make a boatload of money if you just make some love songs like Taylor Swift. I'm like, okay,
cool.
cool. And her parents are both in the music
And sell
industry.
your
And then her
Devil.
dad,
Devil.
and then her dad can buy the first 100,000 copies,
Right.
and all's good.
Yeah, it's just like it's
I'd
that
do it.
easy. She's like, "Are you on Hits One yet?" I was like, "What is Hits One?" She's like, "Satellite radio Hits One." I was like, "No."
Oh, wow.
So anyway,
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's when you know the edge is fading. When you're like, hits one. What?
what is
kids?
Hits
What is this kids? You
What
crazy kids? What are you? That's like seriously, you're dulling at that point.
One? Yeah.
The lawnmower blade is dulling.
It's hard to keep up with so many different things that are
Oh, it's
changing.
impossible.
I mean, we're gonna have to plug in eventually. It's coming. The Matrix is coming.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna keep doing
Oh,
yoga.
yeah.
I'm just gonna keep doing my yoga
Not me.
Absolutely.
and my Wim Hof, and
Yeah, right.
we're gonna.
You're not gonna put an implant in me.
Nope.
But do you know,
Actually,
where was that?
I do
There
it.
was like a factory or some company.
I'd do an Apple
That,
Pay
like,
right here.
Oh.
What? Would you really microchip your body?
Ding. You know, when it came to when it came down to the point like down the road and everything like that, where it's like they're
And
you
they
know.
make you.
yeah. I mean, no, I
I'm not getting microchipped till they make me.
I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but the making thing,
right.
the making thing is different than the. You can have some things at the tip of your finger,
Right.
Like, and I'm because and I see what it is and everything, but I'm also like I grew up on Star Wars and fantasy stuff, and I'm seeing now like especially like with like all the Alien movies and everything, like they did it like Ridley Scott did a really good job of making sure like it seemed like plausible, like this could
Yeah.
happen, in a sense, or like the movie Children of Men, better example. They based it off of literally like 30 years, 40 years in the future, and they did a really good job. But there's some people that have like those little things. And I'm sitting here now going like, yeah, I'll get the tattoo of that. And I get there and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get the tattoo. But I'm saying like I wouldn't like down the road if Elon Musk comes out and be like, hey, dude, I just found this thing and it's going to be like, it's this and
It's gonna be huge.
it's going
It's
to
gonna
be huge.
be
Weighing out options, like and seeing what
Yeah,
it
it's
was,
interesting.
I'd contemplate it. I'd seriously think about it. I'm not caught up on the whole Mark of the Beast or the thing. I'm
No.
not. But I understand. But I also understand why some people are, and how some people could be completely reserved from air. Like absolutely not. I'd never put that on. Do that to my body. And some people even say that, and they got piercings all over themselves, and they got like I don't.
Yeah.
That's different, but at the same
like,
time,
What about like plug it into the like
Matrix
literally
style
plugging
kinda
into the-
thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
talking
don't-
about. Like you
yeah.
sit down in a chair and get.
Wow.
I don't know, but the fact of the matter is that you can like take your phone and put it into that visor thing
yeah.
and throw it right on your mug and be okay.
And lightsaber with.
I'm telling
Darth
you.
Maul.
So there's he's Dutch. There's a Dutch artist, I believe. Gosh, this is gonna be a horrible story, but it's a Dutch artist who did this book. He just got all the money through like a GoFundMe to do this like art, like a graphic novel. It's not really a graphic novel. It's a story through pictures, but it's a story about this little girl and her robot that are going through basically America. But it's in the past, but it was in a more advanced. It like we cusped a little, like we went faster, but then it cut off. So like it's when corporations have kind of fallen apart, major city, like there's only things happening. It looks like again like Children of Men, but there are these masks that these people wear, these eye masks that the whole reason why now it's just people have given up because they just tap out and go into this virtual reality with these masks that like he sees this family. He sees these family, this whole family of four laying on the side of the road, just stopped with these masks on, just laying down, looking up. There's one guy just like standing in the middle of the street, just sitting there with the mask, like right there.
Living in a different reality.
That's basically like what
That's what you're kind of talking. And it is.
Right.
It's totally laden with metaphors and like, you know, symbolism and imagery and like, but it is, and that's one of the reasons why I think I'm happy, like with through the living situation. I think with like through your like with what you're doing, and I think with even with what you guys are doing in Death Squad, you know, Electric Death Squad. It's you're pushing some other energy out to people, and you're creating a different situation for those people aside from the one that they're maybe going to get. So yeah, you might have to win the internet, but if you can literally win them right there in the room, I still think that's where a big connection is. You can get into their room through the social media stuff, but if you literally can be there and you can make a connection as opposed to through like a couple things of glass and going up to space and coming back down. And that's why I think you're seeing a lot of people who really are pushing in yoga, who are pushing into things that are making themselves better. Why people are really getting into all of these new ways of thinking and trying to be better and trying to get rid of these kinds of foods and start leading this kind of thing. And it doesn't mean you have to be super strict on these things, but I feel like people are, as cliche as it might sound, waking up a little bit and going, okay, maybe this stuff really isn't that important. I'm not saying there's still a ton of people, and you still see families at restaurants looking down, kind of all family of four looking down like that picture, but in a restaurant. But then I make sure, especially in Nashville, to look around and see a lot of people still engaging, still doing their thing, and you can still go see a lot of live music and see people engaging, and you know, I think it's huge. So I don't know. I don't know if I just want to win the internet. I want to win hearts and minds. I want to be in that. I want to be in that garage, plug it in to the shitty amp with a bunch of my friends around. That's the kind of show I love to play. Those are aside, like, you know, those are great shows.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think that the way anybody wins,
I just talked for like 6 minutes.
The way anybody makes it now, the way that anybody like quote unquote makes it now is like the traditional business models for almost in any entertainment industry in general are kind of smashed. Yeah, you know. And you can release a song and it goes. I mean, we have our biggest pop star in the world from YouTube. You know, when he got discovered at 12, and now he's in this isolated bubble. I feel so sorry for Justin Bieber.
I know, Justin.
Poor little Justin.
I don't feel that bad.
Haircut.
I don't feel that bad. I feel it sucks what he.
I'm just kidding.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah,
but
right.
But doing yoga before your concerts.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things.
It was crazy, yeah.
Like, it's not important just to put a video up.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put 3 videos up a day. You got to put 2. No. You got to have one of your fans shooting a photo saying, I was at the Kopecky Family Band yoga before. That gets you. That's content. That's how you win internet. And again, it's by getting people right there in front of you and in the room with you.
Yeah. And like you said, if you believe that music is a healing thing like I do, I feel like even if your music is comedic or thrashy and loud or whatever, it still has the ability to kind of like jolt people out of their monotony. And so if you do that, you're allowing people to change their, and
shocking the system.
You're shocking the system. And truly, I feel like through yoga and being a yoga instructor in that scenario, you literally are allowed to tell people, lay on your back and close your eyes. And all of a sudden you're allowed to what I want to do through my music, I'm allowed to do on a way more personal level on a yoga mat. And so it's like, I don't know. I think it's so cool to kind of integrate like some yoga, a lot of yoga concepts and some yoga practices into music and kind of like
absolutely
try and interweave it to be the same thing, you know.
You said the routine thing. I think, I know, and when you're doing yoga, everything else is better.
Absolutely.
When you're meditating, everything goes better. When you're eating better, everything's better. When you basically are doing things that are good for you, everything starts to get better. And I think yoga really just resonates with some people more than others. But I think when it does, it's one of those things that just can really get you going in the right way. Like
absolutely.
I know that I have to do at least one sun salutation, one do a headstand, do at the minimum I have to do 5 minutes. I usually do 30. You know what I mean? So though when I do that, my music's better. Like I keep thinking like, oh, I got to practice more every day. I got to play my guitar more. I got to like get my chops up. I'm writing, I'm recording stuff. I'm not really but when I'm doing those other things, it gets so much better.
Isn't that true?
So what stopped you from teaching or just not in do you still have you had any interest of going back and teaching? I know you said you do classes from time to time.
I sub for some different studios. I just like currently I needed, after getting off the road, I needed to not like have any commitments. Like as far as like the babysitting gig is a commitment, obviously.
Sure,
but I didn't want to have to be in the studio or to have to be teaching or to have to whatever, even though I taught at Third Man Records for their like staff in a few mornings a week, and then at my booking agency I did like a William Morris yoga class every now and then. Like that kind of weird
taught Jack
stuff.
White yoga?
No. He never came. I was like, I'm gonna totally adjust your downward dog.
Stick those hips back.
Hips back. Yeah. Bend your knees. Okay, perfect. But yeah, I mean, and I still have a couple private clients that'll come to my house. But otherwise, honestly, like maybe there will be a time where I'm like plugged into a studio and teaching a regular class. But for me, yoga is so much more like me first. It's like for me, and in the overflow moments when I can, I love to tell people about yoga and teach yoga, but I'm not like, I just don't have the like the bandwidth to think about my art and my music, my personal yoga practice, and having like a lesson to teach.
I mean, I think to be a good teacher of anything, like you have to be like in it to be a teacher.
Absolutely.
To be a quality teacher, the ones that are doing it all the time, and that's the rhythm. Just like if you're you're a musician and you're set, it's your set.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, if you're out of cadence and your verbal cues and all that kind of stuff, I could see where it'd be tricky just dropping in and going, okay, I'm going to teach a class. Be like getting up on stage without having been on stage in a while.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's very similar. There are a lot of similarities managing.
I went into like a studio, like a really nice studio. I'm not even allowed to say what studio. It's that nice. I'm not even shitting you.
Like recording studio?
Recording studio.
Why can't you say it?
Because we're not allowed. Because the people that we recorded with, like it was like a really big gift that was given through another person that they got this time at this studio.
Whoa!
Like, oh no, it was intense. Like, it's a like for real studio, and I hadn't been in a studio environment like that in forever.
Right.
And I was like, but the thing was, I was like, at first when I first got there, like, I know, like, I was nervous getting there, and as soon as I got there, I was like, just clicked. It just like instant. And then but the thing was, I'm playing, and all I'm thinking about while I'm playing, like I noticed, like, is I'm just thinking about my breathing.
Yeah.
I'm literally just thinking about breathing, like trying to like just keep it, just chill, and I'm just playing fine like the whole time. And I just remember like all of the times in the past. That's why I don't like being in studio environments, is because like I get worked up. I think about either the notes I'm gonna miss or the notes I did miss.
Yeah.
Or I think, I'm not thinking about that right there. But again, you start thinking about the breath. You start thinking you're right there in the moment. So it's like, again, back to the yoga and breathe. It's all because of that. It's all because of having that just gets you right there in that moment.
Don't you feel like you think about your breathing like so many times a day?
I do.
I feel like I think about my breathing all the time. Like when I'm around my puppy, even to bring her up again. Like, I notice if I'm breathing long, slow breaths that are deep, she calms down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
when I'm around children, the same. Like, my nieces, I would, like, try and see if I could put them to sleep quicker if I, like, actually relaxed.
Worked with Dolly.
Right? It's so true. It's like...
I'd do, like, a low cycle hum.
You gotta chill out.
And then just do, like, low... Like, that would be my exhale. And it worked a lot of the time.
Yeah.
She was pretty easy to get to sleep most of the time, but I mean, there's like, there's like a video floating around of a guy doing that with his baby or something, where it's like the baby's really crying, but he's like on the chest and he's like, oh, and the baby just every single time just like crying and then it stops.
Okay,
Just
cute.
chills. Oh yeah, and the dude's like, he's probably Australian because like every dude on the internet that's Australian looks great,
Yeah,
and he's just like this little, but yeah, he's just that guy with this perfect baby, and it's it's so adorable. Even I'm like, oh, that's adorable,
it's
dude.
Just adorable.
But it's those moments like that. But yeah, that connection, and again, back to like music with sound, all the things you're doing are obviously interconnected because they all do feed off each other, and it just shows. You write great catchy tunes like that. You play just some solid like grooves that you can just like you're feeling. You're doing some yoga. You're smiling. You're eating your Skittles.
Picking up the kids from
school.
You're
crushing it.
Picking up the kids
and that's
from
really
school.
cool. It's good to see artists and stuff like with that mentality as opposed to someone coming in that's just like, all broken and disturbed. Not to say that we don't have those moments, but it's like someone that's tortured or someone that's like, you got it to get. You can't be stopped. You got it together.
Man, I feel like music is so weird because it's a job where you're kind of like in a circus and you like roll out, roll in, roll out, roll in, all your crap and then do your show and then whatever. And there would be this feeling of coming home after tour and being like so depressed.
Post-gig depression is what I call
so
it. My
real.
wife call it. Oh, my wife, like, there'd be times when she'd make sure, like, she'd get on me. She's like, you got to get over it. Like, you got to snap out of it.
The happiest. I mean, I have a lot of happy moments, but being on stage is by far my most favorite thing in the world.
And it brings you down.
Like,
and
that's why I don't mind playing in those cover bands I was telling you about. Like, just getting on stage.
Fun.
Just get up there and play the tunes.
So my thing is be happy before the gig because the gig's going to end.
Yeah.
The gig will not make you happy.
Yeah.
The stage is now what makes you happy. It's you can excel and be great at that, but it's that whole idea of like you have to realize like because I have to tell myself that because again I get like really depressed, and I understand why why I understand why it happens. You put your heart and soul into those things, and then you're done, and then it turns off, and that's the thing is especially with like H-Beam, we would put so much. That's one of the reasons why I had to stop doing H-Beam. I'd put so much effort into one show. And then it's done, and then we have to come up with a whole nother show.
Gosh.
And it's like, and it's those things that I don't know. I'm feeling more at a rhythm now than I ever have been for that same reason of just being like, I'm gonna do this, and if I go have a gig, great. If I don't, I'm gonna go play, cover gig, or I'm gonna go do musicians on call. I'm gonna go do something, and that's gonna make me feel great too. I'm going to enjoy it, or I'm going to go play with my daughter, or I'm going to go have a podcast interview, or I'm going to talk about what life has been like the last 12 years in Nashville now, I guess.
12 years in Nashville.
So, 12 years in Nashville. I guess I was going to segue to the question, what will be you doing your last day? But before we get to one of those questions, we got a couple questions for you being here in Nashville. So, hamburger, hot dog, or pizza?
Ooh. I do love a good hot dog.
Yes.
But I will say, gosh, I love hamburgers too. I kind of love all the food.
Say hot dog. Because not as many people say hot dog.
I do love a hot dog.
So where in town? Oh, go ahead, Adam.
Where's your favorite hot dog in town?
It used to be. Is it called the Dog of Nashville? It was over off by the Bell Court.
Yep.
They have I think it's called a Knot Dog. I was like a vegetarian for
Yeah.
a long time, and it's like has a bunch of stuff on it, and you can get like sauerkraut and blah
Sure.
blah. It's like a salad.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's not a salad, but
Gotcha.
it's like
You're-
sauerkraut.
You're,
and
not afraid to pile it on a hot dog.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
You're not just a mustard only.
Load it up.
Yeah.
Beam me up, Scotty. You know, load her up. So yep.
I love it. So you said it was, so now it's not?
What?
I thought you said it was. I thought I heard you say
I was
it was.
a vegetarian,
Oh,
so I
you were a
remember
vegetarian.
loving that. I am currently eating meat and loving it, but
Congratulations.
thank
Good for
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now that I
Welcome back to the.
now that I can
Yeah.
lift my cell phone without dying.
Was it really? Was that?
Yeah,
what-
I just got like really low, and this is not for all people. Some people are totally fine. For me, I like had really low iron. Like I could not
Oh,
bruise,
really?
and I lost a lot of weight. It was just not.
Huh.
For me, it wasn't the most healthy thing, but for some people it is. But I still like eat mostly vegetarian.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
I do like love having like a really good steak and
Sure.
you know some chicken and whatnot. You know.
In the movie of your life,
Yeah.
who would play your mother?
My mother. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Know who I'd want to play my mom? The mom in have you seen the movie or the show Girls? You know her mom, Lena Dunham's mom?
I don't know.
I haven't
In that
seen enough.
show. Gosh, it's so good. And she's she's also in Freaks and Geeks. She's the mom in Freaks and Geeks.
Oh yeah. That's
she's
your mom.
so cute. She's just like like remember when she's like the cowgirl
Yeah.
in Freaks? Anyway, it's so good. Yeah, definitely whatever her name is. Yeah.
That's a good one. Good answer.
The mom reached from Geeks. Okay, so sticking on to the whole movie thing,
Yeah.
Karate Kid or Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Oh, Karate Kid.
Have you ever punched anybody
Yes.
In the face.
in the face?
You ever punched anybody in
Oh.
the face?
No,
No.
I haven't.
Have you ever been punched in the face? On purpose or by accident?
Accident.
Does
I mean,
with-
sometimes
does
you get
with-
punched in the face.
does
Like
with
if you're
the-
playing around with someone and they go,
Does
whack,
with
and
the
you know?
with the bass guitar count or no?
That could
mean,
count, I
yeah.
guess. Sure.
Because I got like
It's more
whipped.
slammed.
I got
That's
like
more slammed in
yeah,
the
I got
face.
slammed in the face by a bass guitar. So
That would hurt.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
I don't see you ever wanting to punch somebody in the face
Nah,
or
I
like
couldn't see- or
eliciting that like
Again, someone who
I-
would, I'd be like, I know you got enemies. I know you do.
right.
But I don't know. I'd be skeptical
I've
of
never
any.
been punched in the face.
yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
ever.
No,
I
I
don't
have
ever wanna
not,
get
and I
punched
would
in the
never want.
face.
I like was even thinking back to like being young.
I punched
like,
a bully.
no.
I punched a bully in the nose one time, but I've never been punched
A
in the
bully.
face. Yeah, he was a bully.
Bully.
He was.
Bully, you know.
He came up and like started picking on me, and I just said no, whop, and just popped him right
Oh
in the
my
nose.
gosh.
I didn't even hesitate. I was in like 7th grade. I didn't even think
So
twice.
There you go.
good.
He was
Oh
a
my
jerk kid,
gosh.
and he was pushing me, and like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I was like, I just socked him right in the nose. He started bleeding.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love that.
There
But-
he goes.
Yeah.
Once, this is a funny story. It just like shows who my dad is. So my dad heard that this sucker, idiot bully named Lonnie on our bus route.
Lonnie.
Lonnie was his name.
His name.
His name was Lonnie, and he would just like mess with me and my sister. Like we would go skiing in Colorado and have those like lift things on our jackets.
Sure.
Lift
and
tickets,
like
yeah.
I loved them. I was like, this is so cool. Like, I'm
Yeah,
lift
you
tickets.
collect them. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you're
don't
just
take them
like-
off.
You know, whatever. So I loved him, and he was like, "What's that stupid thing?" You know, and I was
You
like,
need a cartoon that you can
Like-
just like or a
Right.
storybook.
gosh, he's so stupid. So anyway, I was like telling my dad how he's just beating up on me and being like taking the thing and being like hitting my face with it, whatever. So my dad, so anyway, the bus pulls up to our bus stop, our driveway. My dad gets on the bus, and I was like, my dad's getting on the bus. What the heck? And he has my dog like sit, you know, on the driveway. So my dog is just like sitting there. Dad is coming on the bus. He's like, okay, go ahead, get off the bus, girl. So we get off the bus. I watch him go back to Lonnie, grab Lonnie by the shirt, hold him up. I don't know what he said, and he slammed him down, and he got off, and he's like, Lonnie won't be messing with you anymore.
Whoa.
Isn't that badass?
Wow.
I gotta tell my
You
dad.
Can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore,
Like
man.
my dad got on the bus and
Shit. I have dreams of someday being able to do that for my daughter, but it will never happen because I'm not going to jail for that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
What I'm worried about is one day my daughter coming home with a dude that I definitely can't take.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like she walks in with like
I just sighed like a very real
like
sigh.
a 17-year-old
Very
kid that I'm
real
like,
sigh.
there's no way I could do
know.
anything to the guy at all.
It's gonna happen. No, that's why I'm
That
stepping
guy
up.
will whoop
That's why I'm
my
stepping.
ass.
I'm staying a cut above. I told myself that's like when I'm like she's getting heavier.
Yeah.
I have to get stronger.
Yeah.
That's just basically it.
Yeah.
And no, I don't know. You remember? Have you seen that video? I'm talking about all these YouTube videos that floating around, but there's one of like the girls on this beach and like they're being harassed by this one like meathead kind of guy, and like you can see like it's someone taking like a voyeuristic style video, and the dad's like saying like coming up like, and he looks like about almost half the guy's size, but he looks all like, but the other guy's like muscle beach kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? Like he's like mouthing off and like, oh, fucking girls, like stuff like that. And he starts doing like all these like little things like this kind of thing like that. And he keeps messing with the guy, and he's going on for like a good minute. And all of a sudden, like he like does one thing, and the dad just up, like I think almost with like his left hand just down.
Yeah.
The guy's just down.
I love
I
watching
know.
bullies get knocked out on the internet.
I love it. It's just
Yes,
it's
it's
justice.
so
That is one
But-
of my YouTube like wormholes. It'll start. I'll go bully beatdowns. You know what I mean? Or bully
it
gets
all
owned
stems
by
from
the,
that
like,
one
Bully
punch.
beatdown.
It stems from the one punch in the
man.
nose. He loves
Yeah,
it. It's like reliving his
yeah,
time.
watching a bully get knocked the fuck out
So,
is one of my
what other
favorite things
what other
in the
questions?
world.
What other questions? Is that we got?
Oh,
We got the last one.
That's a good question.
The last day
You're going on tour.
you're going on tour. You're going to be gone for a long time,
Yeah.
but you're in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
and you and your puppy and your hubby
Mm-hmm.
are running around Nashville doing Nashville things, or what you would think are Nashville things on your last day in Nashville for us. So what are those things?
Okay. I would definitely go on a hike
Okay.
at either Percy Warner or Beeman Park. Get a nice hike on. Usually Marshall's a coffee shop guy. He loves like a nice cup of coffee. I'll drink anything.
Sure.
I don't care. He likes.
So
you
where's
know,
Marshall taking y'all for coffee?
Probably he likes the new Fido on the west
Oh, cool.
side. Or not Fido, Frothy Monkey, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
It's called.
I'm like, Fido expanded. Cool.
There's a
Nice.
frothy monkey on the west
yeah,
side.
it's in the Nations. It's really pretty.
Of course it is.
Yeah, that
Shit.
area is expanding.
Yes,
So
it
we're
is.
just like right north of there.
Oh, cool.
Just kidding. I mean, I live in Kentucky. I like had one creepy dude that anyway, don't need to know. He's probably long gone. Anyways,
he's not involved in this day.
he's not.
So you've had to deal with that in
He wants to know.
Well, no, I mean now that's an interesting. I mean,
Sure.
that's an
Yeah.
aspect of being a female that
is
guys
weird.
don't even really.
My brother has a
understand.
stalker. No bullshit.
Well, but I mean, it's not common.
Yeah.
It's not a common thing.
Bullshit. No, I take that back, and I resent that because
You
men,
resent it.
I resent it. No, because you're
You
saying that
resent
you're
it.
saying that like men can't have like
No,
this-
no, no. I'm saying is more likely female artists get
Mm-mm.
probably stalked.
No,
more,
no,
I
because
would
Charles
say.
Eston comes into Tool Hippies all the time. Old Deacon from Nashville. Man, that dude has like he loves his fans, but at the same time, you can see it in him where he's like, "These people need to leave me the fuck alone and let me shop." I don't know. I'm just like speaking
Who?
for him. Deacon from Nashville, Charles Eston.
Oh, from the show.
Yeah, from the show.
I gotcha. Sure, sure.
Dude, he's got some like
Maybe
people
so.
go and if Brad Paisley walks in, when Jack White comes into the store or
Oh,
something like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no, don't. Tom
Yeah,
Petty
but
has a story about stalkers.
Yeah,
Again, I'm sorry,
yeah.
I hate to take away from your thunder, but
No.
all I'm saying is I just don't like the idea that it's like girls get it more. But again, interesting
No,
story.
yeah.
It's creepy when it happens, especially when your brother has a stalker, or so, and they're sending you stuff to try to give to him.
Gosh, that's creepy.
How do you have my shit?
Yeah, that's messed up. My thing was a guy who like yeah, I don't know. There was 2 situations, but one of them was very creepy because he like was sending me these messages where he like really, really thought I would go on a trip to Mexico with them.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, you know how you can tell if you piss someone off, they will kill you.
Right.
Like, I mean, I shouldn't say that lightly, but it just was one of those, like, slowly back away and
Yeah.
stop.
Don't turn your back.
That's that's the thing is when you're engaging with fans, and especially how we did, we were very like DIY, very like
You had yoga.
Stay at people's houses. Like before we could afford hotels, we like ate people's spaghetti and did our laundry at their houses, and like very communal. And so with that, you talk to every fan after you know, do all the things. But because there's no level of like security there, you're just like constantly. Yeah. There's no barrier.
Yeah, that's
not constantly. There were honestly 99% amazing, just open, loving people, but there were a couple times that were just
people
so
coming
scary.
on a little too strong.
Yeah, just freaky.
So
and you're like,
not to go on a tangent about your stalkers. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
But you're getting coffee. We don't want to reveal where you live.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You're getting coffee. Like we were totally
we're
trying to like at the finish line.
We saw a squirrel off the side.
We're just like, ooh.
Oh, never mind. Okay, we're back to the race.
I kind of want to know more about your brother's stalker.
So my brother has had a few stalkers actually. He was he's been in some movies. He's been on some TV shows. He was the voice of one of the characters on Hey Arnold.
No.
Yeah, he was Stinky.
What?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then he was in the movie Little Giants.
What?
He was in he did a lot of things.
Oh
Anyways,
my gosh.
he had this and this is one of the reasons why I think he isn't on. I'm divulging all his secrets. Well, I don't think he does social media much anymore because when MySpace was rocking its thing, there was this girl from like the UK that was like obsessed.
Oh no.
Like creepy obsessed. Like that was like the weird thing. And then it was just weird. And like it was one of the things like he never wanted to like. I was like, dude, you gotta take a look at her because if you have to know if you see her. Like if she just shows up, like I don't want to know what she looks like. I don't want to know, like kind of thing. And I was like. But that was a weird moment. That was a weird moment for him. Like, and I remember along the lines of like some of those weird same kind of things, like go to Mexico, not necessarily Mexico, but again, same
trips,
thinking they should be together, kind of thing. And then another one that I get, we got a letter from a fan wanting some pictures signed, like pictures of my brother when he was like 8.
Oh,
it's weird. Like on the set of like Little Giants, it's weird.
That's creepy.
And then it's like, that's when you're like, why do you have my address?
Yeah, why?
And how do you know I'm his brother? I mean, it's, I guess, public knowledge, but
that's
still
so weird. That's so
knows
weird.
about the band, though. Knows about H-Beam. The guy wrote the letter about H-Beam. Like, I saw, are you still playing with H-Beam? Oh, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, man. Stalkers can be weird.
That person is thorough, though.
And he's like, and he was like, and I looked, because I took the address.
I just wanted an autograph.
No, but I went back and like looked. I went and looked like through social media. I'm like, I gotta find this guy, and I found the guy. He lived in like not Gatlinburg, Goodlettsville. But he's like a Comic-Con, like upset. Like he just like he's like an autograph hound. He has to be. But it's like he's like 50, and like it's I don't know. It's weird.
Makes me think of the Cable Guy movie.
Oh man, that's a great movie. I love that. That's a great movie. Good dark comedy. So again, coffee. Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go get some lunch?
Probably. Gosh, well, where would I pick? I would pick
you.
Miss Saigon, pho, or
I've heard a lot of good stuff about that place.
It's so good. I just ate there before I came
Really?
here.
Nice.
Well, earlier tonight.
Might have to go eat there for lunch tomorrow.
So good. I love chicken pho. I just love brothy, warm things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would eat there, but Marshall doesn't like it. So, I would leave him go there. He would go to like Hattie B's.
Yes, get some hot chicken.
He loves hot chicken. I do too, though. But yeah, I mean, we love. I'm trying to think. Actually, no, a fun place we love is called Blue Moon. It's like a funny. It feels Midwestern.
Really?
In every way.
Where's it at?
It's on the Cumberland. It's kind of a hidden gem. It's like over in
Blue Moon
West
Cafe.
Blue Moon
Or Pier
Grill or something.
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
in
about it.
Harbor. You guys have to go.
I've
it's
been there.
fun.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what yeah, that's it is. It's like Blue Moon no, it's not Blue Moon Cafe.
I know what you're talking about though. I've never been there.
Boots took us up. I've been out there at Boots. Yeah. All right.
You like go. It looks like you're driving to the middle of nowhere, and then you see like a pile of dirt, and then you take a left, and then you see a marina. You pull in there.
Kick it on the marina.
Then you're there.
That's it.
And then what else? I just realized I stepped in. Don't worry, not dog poop or anything.
No.
I stepped on one of those like bug sticky things. And then I stepped in like a bunch of hair, and my shoe looks so offensively disgusting.
You do have like a funky, like gross,
funky growth on your shoe.
Funky, gross hair clump on the tip of your shoe.
You gotta get some goof off or something.
I know.
On that.
Yeah, I just looked down.
Those
at
are some
that.
fly chucks or some fly kicks.
Thanks,
Vans rather.
Yeah,
Vans.
I like these.
And you got the frilly pink ankle socks.
I'm not all
Good
tomboy.
for you. Good for you.
I'm not all tomboy. Look at that frilly sock.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Wow.
So
anyway.
what do you? Okay, so after lunch, you're kind of do. What are you gonna do after the hike and lunch?
A great night in
Music,
Nashville.
yeah, night in Nashville. What are you gonna
Close
do?
it out.
Probably just watch some Netflix, kick my feet up.
There you go, because that's how she
She
likes, and
just
that's how she started it out.
Spent enough
Yeah.
time
Just
in
bringing it
clubs and in
back.
bars.
I like that.
Probably a fire.
Just bringing it right back in.
That's it. Yeah.
Good
Lay
for
back.
you. That's
20% of the
fantastic.
day, lay back.
You looking for being
20%, the 20% rule.
Nashville winter.
I am. Yeah.
When people bitch about the cold, you're like, if you only knew.
People are babies.
It's all
Also,
relative, I think.
You have to dress right. I
Yeah.
wear a puffy coat that goes down to my ankles, sorrel boots.
Of course, you have one of those jackets.
Yeah.
You're from.
Like, you have to dress right. I love being outside when I'm hot. I don't like being inside in the winter because if you're inside and you're wearing that, you're sweating.
Oh,
Yeah.
truth.
It's the worst. So.
What's the coldest it gets where you're from? Like in the wintertime? What's
40
that?
below.
Yeah. Like, can only stay outside for like 25, 30 minutes. Kinda
Like,
cold.
I remember being at the bus stop, just like my snot would freeze.
Like,
and I would
below?
you'd smile and you'd crack and
So
bleed your lip.
my mom, her mom would tie, like, would take this yarn with their mittens and would put a paper clip or something like that, or a safety pin or something, and then have the yarn go through the jacket to the other
Yeah.
side. So they took it off. It was right there, and they were just hanging.
Mhm.
But the problem is you had both of them on. You'd go with your mouth to go pull the one off, and your lip would get stuck to the safety pin, like to the paper clip or what have you. But like, yeah, she would tell me all about
40
those kinds of
below.
things. Like, it took
Jesus.
them.
Where
like,
did you guys grow up?
Los Angeles,
Nashville.
Okay, yeah. So
Local.
hot.
let
yeah,
me tell
the
you
desert.
a little bit
the desert.
about
No,
Fargo.
it's cold. It's so cold.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like, yeah,
God.
unimaginable.
It's like breathing in. It would just hurt.
It hurts.
It hurts. Yeah.
Does your family all still live up there?
Woo. Yeah. And they're like really hoping I move back. And I honestly, who knows? I would love to have a little place up there, but
Sure.
That's
You know.
cold,
That's
though.
awesome though. Nah, but it's
Yeah.
all right. Then you get a place down here in
Then-
winter time, or down
yeah.
even
You could-
south. More
what do they
south.
call that?
summer house.
Well, no, the the
Polar Bear Club.
polar bear winter. No, the penguins. People that move from the
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking.
like they live in New York in the winter time or summertime, and then they move down to
Snowbirds.
Florida. Snowbirds.
Snowbirds.
Yeah, you can snowbird in
I'm a
Nashville.
snowbird.
Well, Kelsey, thanks for coming and doing this.
This was so fun,
This has
guys.
been a lot of fun.
Yay!
You know, booking guests is kind of a tricky thing, and I sent you the message. You're like, sure, let's do it. And that's the best answer. So
That is a
Heck
good
yeah.
answer. We like
appreciate it.
those answers.
Thanks
Kelsey
for asking.
KelseyKopecky.com. Anything else you want to tell them to look out for? I mean, you know, I guess maybe a full album in the future, but right now check out the EP or the demos.
Yeah.
And Check it out on Spotify. Also, Feather
check
and
out Kopecky
Bell.
Family Band if you
Yeah,
did.
Kopecky Family Band. Yeah, sure.
Some great records. You get some iTunes money from that.
You can
Absolutely.
totally go down some rabbit holes in my discography. It's fun.
Cool. Go to our website, watch some videos, check it on out, and then listen to the podcast later again. Tell your friends
I got one more
about
quick
it.
question.
Oh.
What's your favorite place to play in Nashville?
Ooh.
Favorite room in Nashville?
I've always liked the basement, the original.
The original basement is fun.
It is fun.
It is.
So that's always a fun place, and I don't know. I've always liked Mercy Lounge too. I know people are kind of on the fence about that one, but yeah, I like those places.
Nice.
How about okay? I guess we're
Exit
done,
In.
so.
No, I was gonna say I like
Exit
Exit In. It's a great box, just
It
easy
is.
box stage.
Beautiful.
I miss
lighting.
Windows. I miss Windows in the Cumberland. Did you ever get to play there back
No,
in the
what's
day?
that?
Yeah, it's a different time. You came in. You could have. She could have. You could have jumped in.
Windows.
Close. Yep. Windows in the Cumberland.
Windows in
Great
Cumberland
venue.
was a tiny little hole in the wall dive bar downtown. Like, you know where that little ice cream shop is? On
Mike's.
2nd
Doc
Avenue?
Holiday. No, it's like Mike's.
Well, now it's called Doc Holidays or whatever. Yeah, it's not even an ice cream
No,
thing.
it's not
It's
an
like
ice
a
cream.
little
Doc
like
Holidays,
Doc
yeah.
Holidays
Was it
bar.
on Broadway?
Yeah, it was on Second. It was on Second
yeah,
Avenue.
Oh, like by Hooters?
No,
No,
not that
down-
far down. Closer to like
Oh.
Wild Horse, right
By-
next to Wild Horse.
Okay.
But
yep,
anyway,
yep.
And you walked
Yeah.
through it and all the back, and it looked out onto
So the windows
Cumberland.
on the Cumberland.
Windows on the Cumberland,
Okay.
exactly. And it was
it's a great place.
fun
Magical.
place to play shows.
That's awesome.
It was the definition of a dive bar for sure.
But Exit
I
In,
love
I like. I,
Right
think
in the heart of set, like right on the yeah. It was
I always have fun at a 5 Spot, and I've liked Garage.
I love
Family
5
Wash.
Spot,
Family
too.
Wash. The new
Oh,
Family
yeah,
Wash is
that's
cool too.
nice,
It's a nice
too.
venue.
Absolutely.
Nice little. You can just go in there, do a little acoustic thing, or
You got any
Just
shows
a
coming
little.
up?
Yeah,
I
what-
do actually.
Yeah, where?
I just confirmed a show on 10/11, October 11th. I think it's a Wednesday.
My daughter's birthday.
Nice. Hey.
Hey,
A couple days after my birthday.
how about that, Libra?
How about that? So I'm gonna play a show at the basement.
Nice.
Cool.
Maybe that's what came to mind. I don't know.
Good.
But and it's just me and my guitar and my keyboard, and I'm gonna try some of my new songs. I have like 5 brand new songs for the full length, and there's kind of keyboardy, moody. It's different. It's kind of like blending my like older kind of thing and the new thing. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just a butterfly in a little sack.
Nice.
That's all I am.
Ready.
Call it a sleeping bag. I call it a chrysalis.
Kelsey
Right.
Kopecky,
So good.
ladies and gentlemen, and that's
Wow.
how we're taking you out on this one. Thank you so much, Kelsey. This has been a lot of fun. This has been episode 28 of the Matt and Adam Cannot Be Stopped podcast. That's right. Cannot. And Kelsey. Thanks again, everybody. We'll see y'all next week with Lance Smith. No, not Lance Smith. That was last week. Who do we got next week? I don't know who we got.
Oh no, here it comes.
But
think
you-
it's Andy Ellis.
No, not Andy Ellis.
We never went over other podcasts.
We didn't. Oh well.
I love
Bye,
it. I
everybody.
love